I ain't got my headphones on yet, but I'm gonna put them on in a second. Right on time. Too easy. I actually had to run. I had to run back to my computer because I had to use the bathroom. How you guys doing? I'm gonna turn this down. Hold on. Boom. All right, guys, I'm going to reveal the prompt, and then we're actually going to do some open discussion tonight. All right? Let's go ahead and prepare it here. Okay, and then are you going to watch or review the debate tonight at 11 Eastern Standard Time? I don't know what debate you're talking about. I didn't plan on reviewing a debate tonight, but it would depend on what it is. I'm getting the topic set up here. All right, guys. So it's going to be a little different, right? Well, not really different. Obviously, I'm going to have my standard topics like Trinity is true, Orthodoxy is true stuff. But I'm also going to have evolution is false. And young earth creationism is true. The frick? Hold on. There we go. Let me go ahead and make it to where it's not. Where is it? There we go. Too easy. No review debate. There might be one. Like I'd be down to watch one if there's a good one that's out there. And that's obviously implying as well that we don't get anybody who specifically wants to come up for a topic, right? Ecclesia Romana, why did you block Jason? I mean, you are Jason, so I don't know why you're talking about it on the third person. What's up, CJ?
Okay, so you believe the Earth is 7 days? 7 days to create? It took 7 days to create the Earth?
7. Yeah, it took 7, but 6, 7, something like that.
It was actually 6, not 7.
I mean, yeah, technically, if you want to say that the 7th day was just a rest day, yeah. But, I'd say that's part of the routine still.
So how do you argue that when it goes against science?
How does it go against science?
Isn't the consensus that the Earth took like millions of years to and like hundreds of millions of years to get from animals, plants, and like the planet. Like that,
yeah, I mean that's the narrative. Yeah, that's the narrative that is taught. But I mean, I'm trying to figure out the actual experiments that's been done to determine that to be the case. And if you have what any of those experiments, like, because like if you think about it like this, see, I actually really love science. I but I'm also a stickler about science. See, I don't like historical narratives without scientific backing. And when you look at something like the age of the Earth, there's no scientific backing to actually determine that to be the case. It's always a narrative or a philosophy that then they make something on top of it. When there's actually plenty of arguments and plenty of evidence empirically. Oops, sorry, one sec. Thank you very much.
Opinion on the Omphalos hypothesis, in which the universe was created with the appearance of age, similar to Adam.
No, I think that's a cope version of young Earth creationism. Saying that it was created young but it appears old, that's a cope position in my opinion. I'm not saying it's heretical, but I think it's a cope position to do that. If you're going to be a young Earth creationist, you just be a young Earth creationist, bro.
So do you believe the Earth is 5,000 years old?
I don't believe that it's any older than 10,000 years old. That's basically where I draw the line.
So you think carbon dating is fake too?
No, actually, I believe that carbon dating is more on my side than yours.
How?
So let me put it like this, right? Do you know diamonds? Right, yeah, diamonds, like the rock, right? It's considered pretty much as the most dense and the oldest type of rock that exists on the planet, right? Because it's the pressure and the heat that caused it is so immense that it's usually traced back to like the beginning time of the Earth. And so, in case you didn't know this, the way that we detect carbon-14 with like radiometric dating and stuff like that, it's undetectable after 60,000 years. After 60,000 years of a sample existing, you're not capable of actually seeing any carbon-14 in a sample anymore. And when you look, and if you look at every sample, almost every sample virtually, that's ever been taken of diamonds, which by the way are the oldest things on Earth, the oldest rocks on Earth, they always detect an astronomical amount of carbon-14 inside of them, intrinsically to them, not in like a contaminated state. And so carbon-14 dating actually helps me because carbon-14 is what we can see inside of these diamonds, inside of coal, inside of oil, inside of all these things, showing that these samples that we're collecting are actually not even close to as old as some people like to guess. Most of the people try to guess that things are millions of years old with uranium lead dating.
You said 60,000 years to decay? Is that what you said?
No. I didn't say that was the half-life. I said that that after 60,000 years, carbon-14 dating becomes virtually impossible to see. So nothing ever completely loses its carbon-14. But what happens is that it becomes virtually impossible to actually see or detect in an object after 60,000 years. And the fact that after 60,000 years you can't see it anymore, the fact that the oldest rocks that are on the planet, like diamonds, for example, are still showing, like some of the studies that have been done recently, especially, over 300 times the carbon-14 that's supposed to actually be there. And if they're if that's the case, then obviously, then that's intrinsic to the rock. It's not even like an outside contaminant. So like I personally believe the carbon-14 actually helps my position. I don't even want to say it's actually a bad system. I don't think it's a bad system at all. I think that if you try to measure anything past, obviously, when I think the Earth existed, then it's ridiculously dumb, and that it doesn't actually work. And because, obviously I don't believe that things existed past that point. And all the science that we use to determine that something is either millions or bajillions of years old, there are always narratives that are then put onto science instead of the science being first and then forming an argument off of that.
All right, then I have one more question. So, do you believe like 6 days is literal, like
Yes.
literally 6 days?
Yes.
Like, so with the first, say, 2 days, I think the sun was made on the third day. It says the sun and the moon.
Mm-hmm. And then you're asking about like why on day one that there was light, but then there was the sun on day three.
If we measure days by the setting, like the Earth um, rotating
Mhm.
relative to the sun, and the sun hasn't been created yet, how can you say it's 2 days? Like the first 2 days were actually measured in 2 days.
Well, I mean, when it says "Let there be light" and on day one, like that's not the sun. So when it says "Let there be light" on day one, that's referring to God's presence. God is declaring that He is going to be present on this on Earth, and then it was so, right?
No,
So like,
I don't think you got my question. Wait, let
oh, okay,
me
go ahead.
rephrase it. So, to like measure, okay, like imagine a day, just like the Earth has to rotate once for a day to pass.
Hmm.
But we can only know it rotates once because the sun, because of the position of the sun,
Hmm.
yeah, because of the position of the sun.
Yep.
So, if the sun was created on the third day, how could you tell that the second and the first day were actually measured in days?
Are you saying that because there wasn't a measurable piece of matter in the sky, that then therefore there's no way to say it
No,
was a
I'm
day?
saying because we measure days by how the Earth rotates once.
Yeah.
So how could that be? How could you possibly know that the first 2 days were
Well,
due to days?
I mean, obviously, like my religion affirms that the story of Genesis is true, and if the story, so like when Moses says specifically that the story of Genesis starts with these first 3 days, and then denotes them in that way, and then days further on in the Bible, especially mean literal 24-hour days, that I don't think that then therefore it's an entirely different context. I think that they're actually just just harmonizing with each other. And so, like, even if there wasn't like a physical capability to measure a day, if Moses really was, just for the sake of the argument, receiving some form of divine revelation about the creation of the world, then he would still be able to know that because God either would tell him that it was a day, and that's why he declared it was a day, or he saw it in some way, shape, or form in a way that we cannot. An anachronism is what Eastern says. I don't ever use that word, but I don't actually, hilariously enough, I don't even really know what that means most of the time.
All right. Well, I don't have any more questions. Awesome.
All good, bro. Appreciate you coming up.
All right.
What up, Bryce?
Nothing much, bro.
Had
How you doing?
some good talks today.
Hmm?
You had some good talks today, bro.
I just started like 5 minutes ago. I just had to talk about young Earth just now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. You know what's funny too is
What?
that like so the things that I've especially like because I've been doing some reading on this kind of stuff, especially recently with like a lot of scientific studies and like to talk about this.
Yeah.
And it's actually very hilarious like how when you get deep into like things like evolution, or you get deep into things like talking about the age of the earth, and you ask these people that hold these positions like how they even came to the conclusion that something like that is this time period or something like that, it always ends up coming
Science.
down, they start with a narrative and then they establish science off of the narrative that they want, rather than basically taking a description and then applying it to a previously known narrative, right? They make a narrative and then they try to find it in empiricism, which then is ridiculous.
Interesting.
Bryce, so I have a question. How do we distinguish what our concept of time is versus God's concept of time is? Right. That's one thing. I'm Orthodox myself. That
Hmm.
I've had a hard time. Like okay, 6 days, but is that 6 days in our concept of what reality and time is, or is that 6 days in what God's concept of time is?
Well, you have to remember that the person that's providing the revelation on paper would be Moses, right? So
Yes, correct.
so when he's applying human terms to certain things, that's his perspective on how it took place. So if, for example, he witnessed it occur in 7 actual days through the vision or whatever, when he was, I think, was he on? I can't remember the story of like
Talking
how
about
he
Mount
received
Sinai?
Genesis. Yeah, was he on Sinai when he received
Yeah,
the
well, that would have
revelation
been
Genesis?
probably the earliest. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like when he received it up there, that he possibly had seen it the entire process occur over the course of 7 days, which then in that case, I would say that God is providing things as much as humanly possible to the humans on how it would work. I wouldn't be able to actually know for a 100% fact if God were to have the concept of time in a manner like that. I don't think he does. But I think that because of the fact that Moses was able to declare that it was something that occurred over 7 days, that he at least had the ability through divine revelation and through the nous, of course, knowing that truth and literally knowing that truth rather than applying some form of extreme metaphor that then everyone has to argue about for thousands of years.
Sure. So do you think it's maybe him giving it to us in a way that we can understand it then, right? Through our lens and what our nous is, right? Versus, the grand scheme of how God.
Yeah, I would say that it's honestly impossible. Like in a complete just baseline sense, it's completely impossible to know if, for example, those 7 days by themselves count towards the amount of years that have existed on this planet, right? Because when you think about it, Eden, we don't have the ability to measure how long Adam and Eve were in Eden, right? It doesn't say.
No, we only get the age that they expired, right?
Yeah, we only know that they lived to that certain age, right? I think it was 800, 900 something. I think it was.
I think Adam was 900.
Yeah. So the people, I don't know why I just lost my train of thought because I read a comment. I'm sorry. When it comes to the amount of years that we declare, right? Because in Orthodoxy we do the Byzantine calendar is in the councils. It's affirmed by the councils, and that declares that the year of the Earth officially is around 7,600 years old. I say that it's no more than 10,000 years old because we don't know how long that Adam was in Eden or if that even counted towards his age, because technically speaking, do you age in a world of eternal life? Is there an age when you are actually partaking of the tree? I have no idea.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
So we don't know how long Adam was actually participating in Eden prior to that fall. It could have been for a very long time.
So
it could have been for 2 days. You know what I mean?
You're saying when the punishment came down from God and then he exiled them from Eden is when we started counting days and the way that we see what time in reality actually is.
I usually would say that, yeah. I don't think that when we talk about the 7 literal days of creation, it's not usually something that's applied to the actual calendar day, if that makes sense. It's usually something that's applied based off of how time would work in Eden, which we don't know. But I would say, though, that current science that exists, especially with a lot of studies that are done in today's world, that you can actually show that the Earth itself is young based off of many different things let me see here. I have a couple of them in here. For example, comets, right? There's the majority of all comets that are in our galaxy that we've ever been able to perceive are young. They're not even old. They already try to say that comets are actually a evidence towards an old Earth, but the only evidence that they have for that is talking about something like the Oort cloud or the Kuiper belt. No, flat Earth is not true, Lustral. I'm not that crazy. I'm sorry. The Oort cloud has never been observed. It's completely theoretical. And the Kuiper belt is something that it doesn't have near as many bodies in the Kuiper belt to be able to determine the age on something like that. And so, but all of the comets that we've been able to actually observe have been thousands of years old, not millions, right? And we see things like that, as well as our decaying magnetic field, because at the rate that our magnetic field is decaying, if we would trace that back 60,000 years, the Earth's magnetic field would be as strong as a neutron star. That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who's that Chinese fellow who has the highest IQ? He just talked about this. That the time it would take tissue to actually degrade, right? If the Earth was millions of years old, it would have tissue to go off the base and crack out.
Sorry, you're lagging really bad, man. I can't hear you.
Just trying to summarize what he said. I apologize. I'm gonna go ahead and hop down. Thanks for answering my question.
Oh, sure thing, man. What's the thoughts on the Pope and the EP praying together? I mean, I hope it leads to something good. That's about it. How do you explain dinosaur fossils? I believe they existed. What do you mean? I believe dinosaurs existed. But I also will defend all day long that the most ancient form of humans actually documented the existence of dinosaurs long before we discovered them. Meaning that either they miraculously drew and sculpted sculptures and paintings of dinosaurs that we literally found but fossils of today miraculously, or there's a possibility that they existed alongside the first humans and that they were then documented that way. Dragons
No.
died out. Exactly. See, Jay's based. Dragons are dinosaurs. It's too easy. St. John of Damascus writes about that. He writes about dinosaurs, dude.
Hear me out, right? Hear me out, right? So the dinosaurs were actually part of Project Bluebeam. Now what? Where do we go from here?
Project Bluebeam for dinosaurs?
Yeah, bro.
Bad take, Bryce. What are you talking about, bro? No dino, dude. You can literally see it in like every ancient society. They drew dinosaurs, like almost identical to the fossils we have. And if you look at literally every single fully compiled dinosaur fossil that we actually have, especially of T-Rexes, they're in a drowning position. They're in a position where they were rapidly rushed by water and their heads were up trying to gasp for air.
Someone said, "Is Mario a comedian?"
Mario is a comedian. That man's funny. He's super funny. What's up, O?
Not much. I just had a few questions about young Earth creationism, or at least your view on it.
Okay.
Do you also believe the universe is 6,000 or like no older than 10,000 years old?
Yes.
How do you explain that we can observe light from that's been traveling for 13.8 billion years?
Yeah. So if everything, like, obviously, like, I have to explain it based off of my account of Genesis, if that's okay. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, of course.
So regarding like everything being created, if everything was created at the exact same time, because this is what I hold to, I don't hold to the Big Bang Theory. I believe that everything was created in its position and then things were set to expand at that point, especially because a lot of recent studies of like the Big Bang have been kind of messed with because everything seems to be expanding away from each other rather than from a singular point. And so if everything is expanding away from each other rather than a single point, then that kind of shows that everything might have been put into a fixed position that then expands naturally after that through like entropy and things like that. So if everything was placed in the same place at the same time, then technically speaking, light would already be able to be perceived even if something was 14 billion light years away. It would still be able to be seen by that point because it was something that was created at the exact same time and it was something that was placed in that exact position, meaning that the light traveling also was placed there at the exact same time.
I see. Well, that's pretty much it. I wasn't expecting like that for an answer.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. God bless.
God bless, man. Arakota for $2. He says, "Where is our white father Yakub on this timeline?" Probably like 9,000 years, something like that. What's up, man?
Yo, what's up? I just have like two questions.
Okay.
So like obviously related to the dinosaur thing, do you like not hold to like, I don't know, like scientific consensus that like they went to extinct like 66 million years ago and like in your timeline when were like dinosaurs alive?
I believe that dinosaurs were alive prior to the flood, and then most of them completely died out, and then there was shrapnels of possible dinosaurs after that in very small periods of time. Like, so, like here, I'll show you a couple images. Let me pull these up.
You've been spurging out on young Earth creationism?
Yeah. Just randomly decided to do it for no reason.
What happened to the Christology arc?
Oh, I'm still doing that. Don't worry about that.
Oh, you got some stuff cooking up?
Yeah. Plan on doing a lecture stream on that eventually. Let me do this here. Or actually, no, I don't need to use the TikTok one. Hold on. All right, so you see this? I'm going to show you guys a bunch of these images. Every image that I'm about to show you is something that occurred in early times of AD or even BC times. Okay? So this is something from Pompeii. This is an ancient Pompeii mosaic of these creatures that human beings apparently were walking beside. You can see people down right here running away from whatever this thing was. This is in Pompeii. This is an 11th century mosaic of ancient Egypt right here. And if we zoom in, you can see how there's a bunch of creatures, you know, like nothing in here is mythical. You can look at all of these creatures. They're regular animals that they were depicting at this time. What is that?
I don't know. Looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah, but they're fighting it.
A fighting dinosaur, I guess.
Looks like the people are either running or fighting from said thing, right?
Yeah.
This is an ancient mosaic from Israel that looks identical to a triceratops.
So there's drawings of dinosaurs?
All over the place.
Damn.
Here's an ancient sculpture that was 800 years prior to European scientists discovering dinosaurs. Here's a literal freaking velociraptor on a Mayan mosaic. Here's a brass engraving. This isn't a tomb, right? These are literally two, like, they look almost identical to brachiosauruses.
Mm-hmm.
These are called the Acambaro figurines. These are debated about, of course, but that's because they're well preserved. Like, there's a bunch of things like that. Some of them have scales that are risen up. Some of them even are depicting a biped type dragon of some kind opening its mouth and eating a person. And then you can also see right here, there's a person riding a literal freaking triceratops. Like, why? Like, these are way, way before we ever discovered dinosaurs when these are shown.
Okay.
Marco Polo in the 1300s even talks about this thing when he was traveling. We still don't know what this is to this day. But it says, here are found snakes and huge serpents, 10 paces in length and 10 spans in girth. At the forepart near the head, they have 2 short legs, having 3 claws like those of a tiger, with eyes larger than a 4-penny loaf and very glaring. The jaws are wide enough to swallow a man, and the teeth are large and sharp, and their whole appearance is so formidable that neither man nor any kind of animal can approach them without terror. This is when he was on his journeys. It's called The Travels of Marco Polo.
Yeah.
This right here is a 4-tusked elephant. It's not obviously a dinosaur, but this kind of helps towards the case as well. In ancient Hindu writings, they actually say that these things apparently used to guard the temple of Ravan's Lanka. These things have been extinct for 1.6 million years ago, apparently, but humans did not exist at that time. These are Inca inscriptions on rocks. We have over 100,000 of these, by the way, where we can see these. And you see these specific spots that they're putting on these reptilian creatures.
Yeah.
We have fossils of things like triceratopses and like the Bulbasauruses. Or no, that's a freaking Pokemon. It's the one that it's the one that has the metal back and the and the tail that can that beat people up and stuff like that. They actually have these spots in their fossils. I said Bulbasaurus. I can't believe I just said Bulbasaurus. My bad. There's over 100,000 of these inscriptions here. Like this one, this is some kind of biped one that's trying to eat a leaf. There's a bunch of them right here. Like this one, literally, it's a gigantic reptilian creature with a gigantic neck eating from the top of a tree. This is a literal triceratops, almost verbatim, with these little spots again, which are fossils that we found of triceratops contain these circular images on the fossils. So if they got ridiculously lucky, or because you have to think about it like this, we didn't start drawing or describing any kind of dinosaurs until we started discovering their bones, according to the current consensus, right?
Yeah.
And so, can pictures be verbatim? That's probably not the right word to use. I'm sorry. But these circular circles are on all of the fossils that we do have for these things.
Atarocoda 3590 super chatted $5. New argument against God. He didn't create real Pokemon wrecked.
Yeah, fair enough. Got you. Thank you for that, man. And it's funny. Go
Question:
ahead.
Where the dodo at?
Where the dodo at? Exactly. A dodo is such a generic looking bird, though. I mean, that thing can pass off as pretty much anything. These are the oldest inscriptions that we have. These are actually caveman drawings of these things. If you look at these images right here, I mean, brother, what the hell is that? It's like a verbatim of Brachiosaurus. We even have these inscriptions on walls that we found as well that it looked just like this. Somebody actually attempted to debunk this, and this was the image that he freaking put in his research paper. This is how he determined that apparently it wasn't actually a dinosaur inscribed. And then it's also identical to other petroglyphs that look identical to it in the region, because multiple people also put that on there. And then also you can even see in the full inscription there's a second one that's looking back at whatever the first one is. These are ridiculously ancient. And full skeletons of dinosaurs that we have found died like this. This is called the death pose, the dinosaur death pose. What does it look like he was doing?
It was like attacking.
No. He's reaching for air, dude. He's drowning.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
There's another one.
Dinosaurs not swim.
Well, there's a difference between swimming and getting literally hit by miles and miles of water in the flood.
Damn, you're right.
Right? And then also over 70% of the ankylosaurs, right, the armored dinosaurs,
Yeah.
they were preserved belly up in the fossil record spanning millions of years. So they died on their back.
Hey,
And that's
Bryce,
because of the fact that
someone said he's yawning. Get wrecked.
yeah, it said he's speaking in tongues too, bro. Exactly. Also, another big thing as well is that most of the fossils that we've actually found of dinosaurs, by the way, are at the highest peaks on Earth. Pretty much all of them.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And if that's the case, then why were they all going here? Because of the fact that the Earth was flooding and they were making their last stand, trying to get away from whatever was happening. And sadly, they still suffered because of us, our problem. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Also,
so,
like,
I honestly, I think that it's very plausible that there were dinosaurs that lived alongside human beings at some point in time, and that they were wiped out with the flood, with only a very small amount of them remaining possibly afterwards in some way, shape, or form. Like, for example, sightings of like the Loch Ness monster or gigantic sea creatures that were apparently displaying the same properties as like a what do they call it? A mosasaur. Mosasaurus, the really, really large sea dinosaur that we found. Those are the ones that we've been able to apparently see in recent times, like 18 and 1900s.
yeah.
That makes sense. If it was during the flood, they possibly survived the flood. They were sea creatures.
Okay. Also, like related to the flood, do you believe it was like regional or like the whole world? And also like I unironically saw a TikTok like an hour ago, and it was like an atheist saying like it's impossible to have like every species on Noah's Ark, something like that.
Well, that's actually not true at all. There's been multiple studies that have been done on Noah's Ark, like regarding how it works. Liberty University actually did a study where they, this was a neutral study, by the way. This was not some kind of like young Earth creationist trying to like invent some special narrative, where they actually scaled a model of the Ark down to like about this big, and then they put it in a wave pool. So they built it exactly to the dimensions, scaled, of course, to what God instructed Noah. And then they put it in the water, and then they hit it with waves that were proportionate to like basically being about 4 times its height, which would make sense if there was a global flood occurring. And it literally, they could not sink it no matter what they did. It always survived. It's literally the perfect dimensions for a boat that is unsinkable. And
Titanic should
so
have taken some
and
notes.
and as well as the fact that they also concluded that based off of the scaled model that they made, that if it scaled properly to what God truly instructed, it would have been able to hold over 70,000 animals and stay afloat. That's perfectly enough.
Hey, by the way, look at what I sent you on Discord. Was Adam cooking when he named this one?
What?
Was Adam cooking when he named that dinosaur?
Which one? Oh, sorry. Did you send it
Look
to
at
me?
the one I
Irvin?
sent you. Yeah, look on Discord. Don't read it out loud.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for real. Yeah. As well as the fact that for flood stuff as well, we actually have a lot of these things occurring. Like you see how like all of these rocks that are hard, right? It seems like they used to be soft in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And there were people that were clawing at these walls.
Yeah.
I mean, if things were capable of going from extremely soft to then extremely hard in a pretty short period of time, that would be explained by a flood, especially with the heat distribution that would occur after it, because the water would have to disappear eventually, right? Constant struggle. And then as well as here, as dinosaur stomping marks that somehow stomped through millions of years of history through the rock strata. How does that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's because it wasn't that because this is supposedly, this line right here is like millions of years of rock strata according to old Earth people. But this is a dinosaur inscription, just embedded in millions of years of rock strata.
Bro, a dinosaur got really tired, bro. Chill.
As well as these things, they're called drop rocks or drop plates, where they're literally just completely solid rocks, completely covered in an entirely different rock in a short period of time. Millions of years, by the way, apparently, between these two layers. But this random rock somehow just got stuck in between both of them like that. And like you could see how this looks like this was rushed.
Yeah. All right, then I think you answered all my. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
God bless.
God bless. What's up, Metro? Nothing much, man. What's going on?
Just wanted to kind of hear your take on evolution. I remember you said, this was a while back, one of your streams, you said that you believe in microevolution more than macro.
Yeah, because microevolution is just epigenetics, which I affirm epigenetics.
Oh, what it was just said that microevolution is just like adaptations.
Yeah, it would just be adaptations of something that like epigenetics, where basically genes are trying to actually adapt to the environment that God provided. I think that that's something that's coded in our DNA, which would make sense. We can see that in these things called ERVs, which actually I have something on that right now. Where is it at? Right here. Hold on. Yeah, endogenous retroviruses. And so it's something basically every time that we discover something in our genome, which is something like junk DNA is what people like to call it, they always end up figuring out that it ends up being like some kind of actual functional mapping for our DNA. And so like these retroviruses and things like that we actually find in our cells or in our DNA, a lot of people that believe in evolution, like macroevolution, say that that's actually evidence towards us coming from other things. Because they'll say like, oh, well, the fact that this virus doesn't exist, but we have a coding in our DNA that tells us to fight off whatever this thing is, we must have come from something else. But that doesn't mean that, because my narrative is fully supported by that, by just saying that God coded us to be able to have that. When it comes to like adaptation, I believe that all that's happening is that our bodies are naturally adapting to the environments that we're a part of. Things like that occur in like the races of people. I mean, like if you literally look at like sub-Saharan Africa, it's the hottest places on earth, right? And the fact that those people there have much higher melanin in their skin, they have the ability to actually not get extreme sunburn because of it. That doesn't mean that then therefore there's like some descendant, right? That doesn't mean that there's some kind of ancestor to them that, you know, is
At
before
least
them.
from what I was taught about macroevolution, it wasn't like we come from different species, but it's like just microevolution on large scale. As in, like all these microevolutions happen, and then like if you look at like from one window in time and then look at another, the way like macroevolutionists describe it is that, oh, that's what happened. That's macroevolution, just microevolution, but in like with bigger leaps in time.
Well, macroevolution is a universal becoming another universal. So like that's literally a species becoming a new species. Speciation, cross speciation or something like that is necessary in order for macroevolution to be the case. You have to be able to actually prove in some way, shape, or form that a species can become a new thing entirely, which is not something that can be demonstrated through experimentation at all. It requires a narrative first.
Yeah, that does. I mean, that obviously makes more logical sense from what you're saying. Because even then, my teacher was heavily against the version of macroevolution that's for like speciation. This is, I mean, yeah, this is like a freshman class in, like for college, a college freshman class in Intro to Biology in evolution. So I just wanted to like know more about that from you because it sounds like we have very similar understandings. Obviously, I'm adhere to what the church says. But yeah, that was pretty much just. I wanted more of an inside look on that because it had left me scratching my head for a good minute.
All right. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, my wife was messaging me. My bad. Yeah, God bless though. Appreciate you coming up.
God bless.
We got my daughter an Amazon Echo, bro. The biggest mistake ever. Oh my gosh.
No, why?
Well, she learned how to call the other Echoes in the house because we have a bunch of them. And she was in bed, and she called the Echo in the kitchen to ask Hannah for a bread roll.
Bryce, I gotta get back to work. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, you're good, man.
God bless, bro.
What's up, Slime? You there, man? Yeah, you're not speaking at all, Slime. I'm just hearing background noise. Whoa, your microphone. All right, just come back up when you got that fixed. Yes, I do. Affirm, Young Earth. Hello? My favorite animal is a kiwi bird. Let me show you guys this legendary specimen. Look at this thing, dude. Look at how epic this thing is. I want one of these as a pet, bro. My favorite animal of all time. This is the greatest creature of all time, bro. These are the coolest things ever. Yeah, you can DM me and then I'll respond. Dude, you gotta listen to this too, bro. First off, look at it run, bro. He just freaking trots away, man. He's so chill. Sounds like my shaving cream bottle. Bro is drowning. Exactly, bro. Exactly. See, he gets it. They're short and chopped, bro. They mog like everything, bro. I don't care. What's your favorite big cat? Saber-toothed tiger, bro. Doesn't exist anymore, but those are cool. Gibbon monkey clears, bruh. You kidding me? It wasn't a tiger? Oh, shit. You said big cat. Oh. It wasn't a tiger. I mean, it's called a saber-tooth, bro. Saber-tooth tiger. That's what people call it. Man, what is this? What the heck is that? There we go. I don't know what that was. Dude, these things are epic, bro. They're cool, but they're not like Kiwi Bird solos that. It's not a sound, bro. It said it was a GIF. Hold on. Yeah, it's a GIF, bro. How am I supposed to play the sound? Hold on. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? I just had a question on the Eastern Orthodox view um, of God's will, essentially.
Okay.
The reason I'm asking, what I'm asking specifically is, I assume you would believe that God's will is like intrinsic to him, like to his nature.
Yeah. As well as an energy, so absolutely.
Okay, right. So, like, would you say that you believe in, that you believe that God has free will? Because I thought about it and I'm thinking, okay, well, if God's free will is, because you guys believe in divine simplicity, right? Not like the Catholic do.
Yeah.
Right. So, if that is the case, then I was thinking, well, in regards to God's will, does God really have free will, and did he have a choice in creating the world as he did? Could necessitarianism be true in an Orthodox view as well? So I was just thinking about that. What do you think?
I mean, well, first off, dogmatically, I would say that you can't affirm necessitarianism as an Orthodox Christian because the fathers are pretty unanimous, like, on that topic. Like, the tradition definitely doesn't call for necessitarianism. They're very clear on saying that things are contingent for a reason. And if you affirm that creation itself is contingent, right, then technically speaking, the necessitarian view can't follow. And so you have to remember that in Orthodoxy, we affirm this thing called the logi, which is the reflections of the divine mind, which are basically, God knows all possible things, right? He has concepts of all things that are possible in every way. He still chooses any of those concepts that he possesses, and he's able to choose which one that he chooses to concretize or actualize into an effect of some kind. And so what is necessary is God knowing all possibilities. What is not necessary is basically the thing that which is concretized. So whatever is actually made actual is not the thing that is necessary.
Okay, so
because you're kind of framing it like if God knows T, then T. right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that's not how that would work. If God knows all possible realities that can occur, but if he chooses to actualize it in a certain manner, then that is him making a choice. So then therefore he would have choice.
Okay. And in an ADS model, do you think that necessitarianism would be true?
I would say that, like, because I've watched a lot of modal collapse argumentation from people trying to collapse Thomism, and a lot of them kind of implicitly accept necessitarianism without saying it,
Mm-hmm.
which I just think is anti-patristic. I mean, I don't think there's a philosophical issue with it necessarily. I just think it's not proper to tradition, and it's not proper to theology, like the ones that's been passed down.
Definitely against tradition for sure.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. Like if you just look back into from the earliest Christians, they're gonna tell you that the creation is not it's just a contingent. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, because I've started thinking, well, look, if the will is intrinsic to the nature, like how do you think of like God making decisions? Does he? Because he doesn't ponder. God doesn't ponder like us.
Of course.
So is the other way, the only possible way is that um, God just does things eternally perfectly just as they must be. So I thought, okay, well, isn't that basically just necessitarianism? Because God has to create, he always created and stuff.
No, because God didn't have to create it all. There's a possible world where God chose not to create it all. There is a possible world where God is alone. There's nothing philosophically wrong with saying that God could be alone. So I mean, if it's even possible that God could have not created in any sense, right? If that is something that is possible, then therefore it's not necessary for creation to exist. It's kind of like the S5 axiom, honestly, like modal logic. You know, like you can't, like, it's not like you can't posit a necessary possibility to creation by itself. Like it's kind of unfounded. If it has the ability to be contingent, then it's contingent. If it has the ability to be necessary, then it is necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, weak PSR, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, weak PSR would just be like PSR, but to a certain extent, like you don't always, like you don't go back into infinity trying to explain,
Yeah.
like why this okay.
Yeah. Well, I gotta share my
Fair
TikTok
enough.
live to
Okay.
people on YouTube. They requesting. There we go.
You was, yeah, because I was thinking under an ADS model. Wait, what the hell? Khalil randomly joins as we're talking about ADS and necessitarianism.
Yeah, I know that he's a necessitarian. Yeah.
Yeah, that's random coincidence, but yeah, yeah. I just thought, look, under absolute divine simplicity, I'm not gonna say it's for sure, but to me it sounds like it. Like it sounds necessitarian to me, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong on that.
That's why you be Orthodox. So you don't have to hold to necessitarianism.
I guess, yeah.
Do you have any? Do you have anything else, man?
Regarding orthodoxy, what else? I really just wanted to ask about that, but if I were to ask something else, no, not really. Nah, you can drop. You can drop.
Cool, man. God bless.
Yeah, God bless.
Cool beans. Just vibing. You know what I mean? Probably give it like I'd give it a while longer, and then if I can't get anybody to come up and talk about the topics, then I might find a review. Those seem to go well on the viewership, especially. They're entertaining. I've been baptized Orthodox since June 2024. If God could have chosen not to create the world, then doesn't that make contingency in God? How does EO solve this? It doesn't put contingency in God, because God's choices are based off of his own will. And the choices themselves, right? Those are effects. The effects follow from it. And the effects are the things that are contingent. That doesn't mean that then therefore like the act of doing that thing is then or that he must actualize what he knows. Right. So if he knows there's a possible world where he could not exist, that doesn't mean that then therefore it has to be the case, as well as the other way around. Like, even if God knows that he can create, that doesn't mean that he has to create. Review a young Earth debate versus old Earth debate. I could do that. I would say react to Juju versus Anas last night on the Trinity, but Juju was pretty much just teaching. Are you for real? What's up, man?
Hey, Bryce, what's up?
You don't have to do devil's advocate if you want to, bro. I'm just chilling.
All right.
Up to you. Unless you just actually wanted to talk for a little bit, I don't care.
Yeah, so on young Earth creationism, in the Septuagint, we would hold that the Earth is about 7,500 years old.
Ish, yeah.
So, yeah, ish. Now, there's actually a national park I wanted to ask you about that I think could possibly hurt the claim unless you have a rebuttal for it.
Okay.
So, if you want to look it up, it's called Crater Lake National Park. It's in Oregon.
All right.
And
okay.
All right. Sorry, I had to do something real quick. Okay. And Crater Lake is said to have belonged to Mount Mazamar, I believe the name is, around 7,700 years ago until it collapsed into the lake and it created Crater Lake. Now, Crater Lake is a pretty deep lake, but it also has very little sediment within it. So how exactly would we be able to argue a global cataclysmic seismic flood if Crater Lake exists and it has very little sediment in it? Wouldn't sediment have filled Crater Lake?
Not if it used to be a gigantic mountain, right? So if it was a mountain that possibly, you said it didn't have very much sediment, right?
Yeah, it did not have very much sediment within it.
So if it didn't have a bunch of sediment already within it that compacted it into what it was, then the flood could have just made it collapse.
Yeah, I guess that.
I mean, like if it was like, think about it like this: if you have a mountain that's full of sediment, then the water would rise up, and then the water would go down eventually, and the mountain would probably virtually stay pretty similar to what it is. But if it's like something that barely had any sediment in the first place, technically speaking, like if a global flood crashed up against whatever that thing was and it was already loose, as in not having much sediment in the first place, it would have collapsed from the flood. It probably would have become the lake.
Oh, so your argument is that it probably collapsed a little bit after the Great Flood happened? Yeah, that's a pretty good argument. I haven't heard that one before. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all I had for you.
Sure thing, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. See ya.
What's up, man?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, sorry. My name is Ben. I'm here under. I just noticed my son's alt, or my son's account was here, Thomas. But I'm Catholic, and I'm not sure. I mean, as Catholics, we believe Orthodoxy is. I don't know if the word is true, but is real Christianity. But
Mhm.
I suppose you're a convert. Is that right? To
Yeah.
Orthodoxy? So my curiosity is just because I'm a convert to Catholicism, and
Okay.
I would just be really. I'm just curious as to what. When you compare the two, it just seems like the overwhelmingly stronger case is for Catholicism. I don't know what would draw someone to Orthodoxy, but I'm curious.
Well, honestly, like
The
what?
liturgy is beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Orthodox liturgy is beautiful. Yeah.
It is very beautiful. I love it. But the big thing for me, what made me choose Orthodoxy was that I started studying church history and how things worked. And the way that the fathers taught theology and the way that the fathers taught like the way that ecclesiology runs and all of these types of things, I believe personally that the claims of things like Vatican I and Vatican II don't purport to the first millennia. And I believe that our councils that we have do, like the councils that we had after the schism, because the Orthodoxy is very serious on making sure that we do not innovate in any way, shape, or form. At least in Vatican II, they seem to not really hold to that in a pretty serious manner, where they kind of accept that there's some things that are innovative based off of the time, or based off of the age.
I understand you're doing like Orthodox talking points, but I'm saying before you, because I understand if you were a cradle Orthodox, but before you get to that point, you would have to say like, okay, well, let's look at the competing claims, right? And I understand the overwhelming claim of traditional Christianity over, say, I'm not sure what you came from, Protestantism or something like that.
I was like a non-denominational, like Pentecostal dude, man.
Oh, okay. So, but then but you must say like, okay, prima facie, you've got the Bishop of Rome, and who do the Orthodox say the Bishop of Rome is?
Nowadays, we don't. I mean, we have a bishop that's in Rome, but we don't call him the Patriarch of Rome. Like he's not like the actual patriarch. We don't believe that like the Patriarch of Rome or the Bishop of Rome has to exist in order for the church to exist. That's kind of the whole point.
Okay, so I have a master's degree in theology, and I concentrated on church history. And I had become Catholic before studying. It was a seminary, but
Okay.
I was just amazed at how many obvious references there are to Rome as the successor of Peter in the early centuries. I mean, you'd have to be blind not to see that. And
Rome absolutely was the successor of Peter.
Rome rescues the church, sort of.
They have done that in the past, yes, but they've also been on the other side of that, where they needed to be rescued by the East. So I mean,
I don't really think that's true of Rome, but like I understand that the East has like I'm not an anti-Orthodox. Like I don't think many Catholics are. Like I believe the two lungs, of the church, that sort of thing. So I'm not saying that Orthodoxy is in heresy. I think we take a softer. It depends on who you talk to who is Orthodox, right? There's rigorous Orthodox, and then there's the more like kind of see it as like union being more of a scandal. So you say the Pope. So you see that like in the early centuries, there's just an amazing quality of.
Rome did amazing things in the first millennia.
Rome,
fantastic.
Okay, so then what happened to that? I don't understand. How would you account for?
They attempted to. I mean, they stepped outside of their own boundaries towards like the 10th and 11th century, and things got extremely heated. And then excommunications occurred over different theological takes, like the filioque and things like that, and supremacy and Azimite usage, and things like that.
Okay, well, I'm just curious about this. You're familiar with the Council of Florence?
Yeah,
1450s, right?
Yeah,
and largely
the 30s, 1430s. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So the Orthodox largely, and you would admit, 1054, there was all sorts of like political and, I mean, like the sack of Constantinople. That was a mess on both sides, right? I mean, it's not like a lot of the reasons for the rift were not really theological. and theological justifications were found post hoc, not at the time.
I mean, the direct argument from Patriarch Michael Celiarius was the fact that you guys affirmed that the Holy Spirit proceeded from the Father and the Son, and you guys wouldn't recant that statement. So I mean, like that, and as well as the unleavened bread usage.
But do you know the history? Do you know the history of the Filioque?
Yeah,
I'm not trying
It was to try to defeat the Arian heresy during the time between Nicaea and Constantinople I.
Yeah, so like yes, the church will admit there was an addition, or let's say the Catholic Church will admit there was an addition, but there was also an addition between Nicaea and Constantinople. So to appeal to like unchangingness is a little bit like, it's fuzzy, that type of history. And also that most Orthodox agree with Catholics that you can make the Filioque make sense theologically. It just has to do with how you interpret it.
Can you name a single Eastern Orthodox that does that?
I couldn't name off the top of my head, but I believe that in the Council of Florence there was an agreement that that's actually not keeping us from union, and the Orthodox bishops at the Council of Florence voted to reunify. Isn't that true? So they overcame the theological problems.
Yeah, the bishops that were there agreed to the Latin position, but do you know like what happened to those bishops and what they were instructed prior to going to that council?
I know that the argument from the Orthodox side is that it wasn't received by the faithful.
Well, it's not. That's not even the problem. Actually, the patriarchs didn't even receive it. The only patriarch that actually ascended to the council, like the actual patriarch, was Patriarch Metrophanes II. I mean, and that was of Constantinople. I mean, all of the other patriarchs actually excommunicated the bishops that signed the treaty, because the patriarchs did not go to the Council of Florence. They sent legates. And they instructed those legates prior to going to the council, do not submit to anything that we do not already, do not submit to and the Son, and do not submit to the supremacy of the Roman pontiff. And they said, okay. And then when they did, the patriarch said, you went against the tradition, and then they excommunicated them. They were instructed actually not to sign it if they were going to basically accept any innovative doctrines. And that's why St. Mark of Ephesus had so much power there. And that's because, in case you didn't know this, St. Mark of Ephesus had control over 3 different patriarchates' decisions at the time of Florence. He had the control over Antioch, Jerusalem, and Alexandria. So the patriarchs of Alexandria, Jerusalem, and Antioch both relied on what St. Mark of Ephesus said. So when St. Mark of Ephesus denied the union, those 3 patriarchates denied the union. Constantinople was the only one that actually tried to retain that union.
But what I'm saying is, you say you say I don't think there are theologians which agree that the because in the West, the Eastern churches don't say the Filioque, and we're fine with that. So we don't have a problem with either formulation.
Yeah, but they have to affirm one singular principle of spiration of the Spirit, which we would say is heresy. That was declared as heresy at the Council of Blackernay in 1285. So, I mean, they submitted to something that was already anathema. That's why they were incorrect and got excommunicated by the patriarchs.
Yeah, I understand it wasn't, but there's a reason that they submitted, because whatever, you're saying they submitted because of what, political pressure?
Regarding the Council of Florence, absolutely, yeah. I mean, what's his name? He was of Kiev, the Russian bishop that was there. He was promised a position as basically a bishop of Rome, if he were to sign for it, as well as Bessarion. Bessarion literally went from being a strict theologian for Nicaea, and then he became a cardinal right after he signed for the thing. As well as there was a bunch of other people that actually wrote, and this is by Seropolos. He's one of the main eyewitnesses to Florence. He said that most of them were forced to sign the doctrine because of the fact that they weren't being paid. They were refusing to actually pay the people that were there. St. Mark of Ephesus was actually rejected food and money because of the fact that he wouldn't sign the union, and he had to beg for food on the street.
Yeah,
right.
And that's true of many early councils, though, that there was a lot of pressure. Like the emperor put a lot of pressure on unity, right?
I mean, if you think that like starving people to get them to sign a document is unity.
I absolutely think it's awesome that people put the unity of the church over the quibbles of what I think are people who are, like who are just obstinate in, but you could say they're sincere, and you know as well as I do that like there have been champions of the faith who have been on the receiving end, like the Arians. There was enormous pressure to have the church move in the Aryan direction, and it was the heroism. But don't you see that, like today, for example, the war in Ukraine is an open scandal of, wouldn't you say, of Christians killing Christians, and in many ways, it shows the weakness of orthodoxy because, in a certain sense, the whole Ukraine war began when I think it was the Patriarch of Constantinople
made a heretical sect of the Ukrainian church.
Yeah, right. And so I can understand why the Russian Orthodox would say, like, whoa, what are you doing, right? Because you have this problem. Who is actually in charge, right? I mean, you have a problem that is unsolvable. And I would just think, like, you'd look back and say, you'd look back at church history and say, well, obviously the solution here is the solution that the apostles were given, which is that Peter will be the source of unity.
The war in Ukraine was already the war in Ukraine already began prior to the Ukrainian church being established. The Ukrainian church, like the true Ukrainian church, was already involved in the war prior to that heretical sect being created in the first place. The heretical sect was created in the first place because of the fact that the actual Ukrainian diocese of the Orthodox Church was they were calling against Russia.
You're Russian Orthodox, I take it then, right?
No, I'm Antiochian.
Okay, so I'm not sure who it was. So you're saying that the Russian church was that the Patriarch of Constantinople was unable to do what he did.
What do you mean unable to do what he did? He definitely established a schismatic sect.
Yeah, you're saying it was a schismatic act for him to redefine the Ukrainian church as not part of the Russian Orthodox Church, right?
Yes. He cannot do that.
But he's the Patriarch of Constantinople.
We don't think he's the Pope, dude.
I'm not a dude, but you don't he has primacy. He would be seen as having historically the most primacy, and Constantinople as the second Rome. I mean, he has a very strong claim.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he has immediate and universal jurisdiction over other dioceses.
No,
even if he has a primacy. So then he can't do that.
Who would adjudicate that?
The entire church, the entire church entirely in a council.
How? In a council?
Yeah, all 5 patriarchates must assent to it. That's called it. That's just standard conciliar ecclesiology.
And when is the last time that occurred?
The last time that we had a council where it was completely pan-Orthodox, I mean, the Council of Jerusalem in 1672, I think.
Okay, and you don't think, and you don't possibly imagine that anywhere in the near future that's going to happen, right? Because they're all in disagreement with each other.
Are you talking about regarding like Constantinople and Moscow? Are you talking about that problem? Because I mean, other than that, nobody else is having issues.
Well, you have the biggest church, the biggest Orthodox church in the world, which is the Russian Orthodox Church. I'm not sure if they excommunicated the Patriarch of Constantinople or
the Moscow Greek problem, yeah,
and vice versa, right?
Not vice versa. No.
Okay.
No. The Patriarch of Constantinople did not excommunicate Patriarch Kirill.
Kirill, okay. So, but you have the largest Orthodox church in the world excommunicating, what you would have to say is the most prestigious.
He didn't excommunicate them as well. That's not what happened. He simply he simply just stated that he's not going to celebrate the Eucharist with them anymore. They're still technically speaking in communion with each other because they're both in communion with a church that they do believe has a valid sacrament. So if Moscow can go to Serbia and Greek can go to Serbia and they can both still partake in that church, they just cannot. Just Moscow specifically is not allowed to go to a Greek-ran church. That's the only thing. It's not an actual. There's no schism.
Okay, so they haven't declared officially, but there's sort of a de facto obviously there's a disunity.
Yeah, things like that happened all the time in the first millennia.
Yes, in
The Meletian
but
schism is like almost verbatim what happened, like what's going on right now.
you said, yeah, you said the mechanism was an ecumenical council, and
Yeah.
you're saying one has not occurred since 1672, and is not really foreseeable to occur in the future. Don't you think that is what you have is an open scandal of disunity?
No. I mean, like, I believe that obviously that there is people that are fighting within the church, but that doesn't mean that a council can't be established. Because if for example, like a council is called by, I don't know, if the Patriarch of Antioch were to call for a ecumenical council or just a pan-Orthodox synod in general, and both the Patriarch Kirill and Patriarch Bartholomew both went, that they would both still be going to the synod because they're both in they're both in communion with Patriarch John X. So a council can definitely occur. It's just we haven't decided to do one because this is entirely a political problem. This is not a theological issue. So establishing a council for a political problem is kind of dumb.
You don't think the problem of like governance is like
It's not.
requires some sort of
It's not a governance issue. Like Moscow doesn't think that Constantinople is trying to step over their bounds to be what they are. They're out of communion because of the fact that Patriarch Kirill thinks that Patriarch Bartholomew. Granted, I do agree that Patriarch Bartholomew has his issues, but he thinks that Patriarch Bartholomew is committing heresy from his position because of a couple different things that he did. Like, for example, establishing the heretical sect of the heretical Ukrainian sect.
right. Okay, so accusing the bishop of Constantinople, or whatever it would be, our metropolitan of Constantinople, of heresy, like that's a major problem, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, things like that happened all the time in the first millennia, dude. I don't understand the problem.
I'm not sure why you call me dude, but that's fine. But there was disunity, and it was resolved with councils. I don't understand.
The
You
Meletian
haven't-
schism was solved by a council?
Not everything was solved by a council, but councils were the general way in which, if there was something on that level, the church would resolve it. And I'm just wondering, as an outsider, you think the filioque justifies, like, whatever the theological, like, fine points, justifies the disruption of the body of Christ?
Yes, you guys believe in a different Trinity than we do. So correct.
So you think the formulation through the Father and the Son, which we can accept, or we can accept it without the filioque, is like, that's worthy of breaking the unity which Christ prayed for?
Yeah, because you guys believe in a different metaphysics regarding the Trinity entirely. I mean, that's like, it's
How
the
does
same.
that affect, how does that affect anything? Tell me one way in which that affects anything.
I believe it contradicts Constantinople 1.
No, in actual real life, like we go to church because we want to know the gospel and live our lives in harmony with the gospel. So the filioque, name one way in which that affects anyone's life.
Affects like what? My personal life of going to church?
What's that?
Like my personal life going to church?
What does it affect? Like in like, so if you have theological controversies, like about the Christological controversies, it really matters. Like, who is Christ? Is he a, demigod? Is he co-equal with the Father? It really affects how we understand God, which really affects all aspects of theology.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world does the filioque affect?
It goes against Constantinople 1. It goes against the declaration of the Father as the sole arche.
I mean, that's according to you, but like what I'm saying is, down the line, what does it affect? You're just saying, I think it contradicts something which came before.
It's not my opinion, it's the church's opinion.
But it's not the universal church's opinion, obviously.
Yes, it is. There's not a single diocese in Orthodoxy that thinks that the filioque is okay.
I think there are many Orthodox who think the filioque, if properly understood, is fine.
That's why I asked for a singular person that says that.
So do you think that 1054 was about the filioque? It was not about the filioque.
Really? So Michael Cellularius's letter to the Pope was not about the filioque.
I don't know. I haven't memorized all of the stuff, but I'm just saying.
It was directly about the filioque. That was the reason why the communion break happened.
So you don't think it had to do with the sacking of Constantinople? You don't think it had to do with the language difficulties between the Latin and the Greek Church? You don't think it had anything to do with like a rebelliousness in the East, which we find over and over again in Christianity?
The sack of Constantinople happened in 1204. How could that be the cause of the schism?
That's a good point. It didn't happen at the same time?
No, it's 200 years later.
Okay, but that in other words caused further rift. There were a lot of things which happened which weren't.
Yeah, I believe the schism at first wasn't like just boom. I mean, it took forever for it to like actually be very clear on who the Eastern Orthodox versus who was the Roman Catholic. It took a while for that to be formulated. One of the big things that I mean, it was like the Patriarch Michael. His main arguments were that you affirm and the Son for a theological take, and that you affirm unleavened bread being used in the Eucharist, and you affirm that the Pope has immediate and universal jurisdiction over the Church. Those three things, they said you renounce these heresies or we are gone. And then they didn't.
Right, so you're saying, okay, let's take the second one. I'm not... Leavened bread, you're saying the use of unleavened bread.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was one of the things.
Breaking the unity of the Church.
Yes.
Why?
Because there was multiple different types of heretics in the past that actually tried to change the way that the Eucharist works, and they got excommunicated for it. Like the hydropostate, they were a type of people who believed that the Eucharist should be water and bread. They were excommunicated for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there's multiple
I can
different
understand
situations.
that, but because you're saying that you're changing wine to like from that like it's a basic substance, but leavened, unleavened. I'm sure there are real reasons for both of those traditions. Why not? Why not say, look, we do the sign of the cross left to right. Orthodox do it right to left. That's worthy of breaking the unity. I mean, at some point it becomes ridiculous, right?
We got nothing about the left to right thing. I mean, our Western Rite Orthodox churches do left to right.
Right, but what I'm saying is like, it seems like these are, to me, seem similar, like incredibly picayune things. Like unleavened bread is going to break the unity of the Church.
I mean, it was one of Michael's gripes. I'm not saying that it was the main cause. The main cause was the filioque. Because the controversy became bigger after St. Photius wrote the Mystagogy of the Holy Spirit.
But you're aware that Eastern Catholics are not required to say the filioque.
Yeah, but they have to believe it, right?
They have to believe. I think the idea was that if properly understood, this is Orthodox for all Christians. And I don't know the details of the theology, but I do think at a certain point it becomes ridiculous. If you understand the procession from the Father through the Son, there is a certain way in which that makes sense.
Yeah, if you're not referring to the actual cause of the Holy Spirit, if you're not referring to his subsistence, then sure, fine.
So that's worthy of, yeah, right. So you could say, like, for example, the way it happened is the Father sent the Son sent the Holy Spirit, right? And
yeah. Cool.
We're also fine with saying without the filioque, and that's worthy of breaking Christendom.
If you believe that the Holy Spirit is caused for his existence by the Father and Spirit, or by the Father and Son, yes, because that's a different Trinity. That's not the Trinity declared at Constantinople I.
But okay, but then you're saying like, okay, a formulation which occurred at a certain time can't be adjusted, right? But that's happened a number of times. The Nicene Creed was adjusted, right? Even though they said you can't change a word of this, right?
Well, they didn't say that you couldn't change a word of the Nicene Creed until the Council of Ephesus. So I don't really know how you got that.
I believe the creed that is said East and West is significantly different from what was formulated at Nicaea.
Other than and the Son, no. Are you talking about Constantinople I?
I think at Constantinople there were additions made, and
yeah,
you
The
know,
Holy
things,
Spirit, regarding things about the Holy Spirit, and regarding the final judgment, and the one baptism for the remission of sins, and things like that. Sure.
yeah. So, but couldn't someone say like, "Oh, that's a heresy. You added to something." I mean,
No.
it's always possible to say that.
No, there's a difference, because when first off, the Holy Spirit was never declared about how he existed prior to that. In terms at Nicaea, it wasn't declared how the Holy Spirit exists. And so at Constantinople I, when they declared that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and talking about for his existence, then if you were to add on to that and say and the Son, you're then changing doctrine. You're not just clarifying something.
But aren't there? Let's see. What do you call it? I forget what you call them. There's a group of people who claim to be Orthodox who only see the first four. Right? They are called the Ancient or something like that. Orthodox Church, right? So you don't recognize them as valid, but they say you've added to the first four councils, something like that. You familiar with what I'm talking about?
No.
What are they called? They're not the Russian, not the Greek, not the Antiochene, but they're called.
Are they the old believers?
Primitive or something like that. And they held to certain beliefs, and they don't recognize the 5th through the 11th councils. They're not.
Do you mean the fourth? Do you mean the? Are you talking about the Oriental Orthodox, man? Like the Coptics?
Yeah, I think that maybe.
Yeah, that's they deny the 4th through the 7th council.
Right. Okay. And you think that is a failing on their part, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure they have reasons for it, right?
Not good ones.
But wouldn't we say the same about you?
You can try, sure.
Okay. And don't you see that, like, what the failure of their failure is that what they lose is communion with the Catholic Church. I mean, that small c, like the universal church, which is a scandal, right?
Wait, say that again?
The major thing, it's fine if someone says like, geez, this is an innovation, right? And every council has had people who say this is an innovation, right? This is an innovation you're adding, because obviously
most of the councils weren't accused of innovating. Most of the councils were accusing innovators. That's not the same. Oops,
right,
sorry.
but then they in turn were.
Sorry, 1 second.
No,
he is a master in theology, mind you, while having no actual idea of church history.
Oh, thank you for the donation. Appreciate that. Sorry, YouTube.
Yeah, so you're saying, well, what you have even in the Council of Jerusalem, in the scriptures themselves, like I don't think that's counted as the first council per se, but you have the question of circumcision of new believers, right?
Yeah, Council of Jerusalem in the Book of Acts.
So in the Council of Jerusalem, the church fathers, or the apostles mostly, got together and they decided on something which was accused of being an innovation, right?
And who was the one that was spreading it?
Spreading what?
That thing, that problem of thinking you needed to circumcise
I think it was
Gentiles?
the Bereans and what they called the Judaizers, right?
It was Peter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was part of that party, but he.
So the first council rebuked Peter's false doctrine that he had at the time. Like what?
Oh, so you're anti-Peter? So you don't believe Peter?
No, I'm not anti-Peter.
That's perfect.
I believe he's the head of the apostles.
No, you're trying to throw shade.
But
at
people
Peter,
can
Protestants throw shade at Our Lady.
What? I believe that he was the head of the apostles, brother. Doesn't mean that he can't be wrong.
Well, what
did James is the one that ran that council, right? St. James.
Yes.
Where did Peter confirm it? Because he did, but why is it that James was the one that required the confirmation of it?
Well, if you want to throw shade on,
how am I throwing shade at Peter?
That's fine with me.
How am I throwing shade at Peter right now?
You're in a weak position to do that, but that is that seems to be a kind of thing here. But what I'm saying is, at the Council of Jerusalem, if we could get back to the point, at the Council of Jerusalem, the party which, through the Holy Spirit, judged was seen to be the innovators, right? In a sense, the conservatives were saying, like, yeah, okay, but of course we're not going to throw out the Mosaic law, circumcision, all of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the innovators won, and won out, or through the Holy Spirit it was declared, right? So you say that councils are against innovation. Every council is, you have people who are arguing that's why you need a council, and however it's judged to be, some people are going to be unhappy and they're going to say this is an innovation. That is pretty much the story of the councils, right?
Okay.
So when you say when you say like the Oriental Orthodox Church, yeah, I think that's right, which rejects councils after the fourth, there or including the, I don't know what exactly it is.
They reject the fourth council. Chalcedon is heresy to them.
Okay, they're rejecting it, and they will say because this is an innovation, right? And we stand by the old, the old tradition. And what I'm saying is the same thing is true of Orthodox in regards to Catholics, right? We stand with you up till the 11th century, and then we part ways at whatever it wasn't at the 11th council.
What?
You recognize, in common with Catholics, the councils up until the 11th, I think, council, right?
No, the 7th.
The 7th, okay, and then we part ways. Because you say from
the seventh council was like 300 years before the schism, dude. There was no council that we rejected to split from you. It was an excommunication.
It was no. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The split did not occur as the result of a council. Is that what you?
Yes, it did. It did not occur because of a council. Yes.
No, but then I'm not sure what the 8th council was in the Catholic Church, but whatever that was considered.
Yours was the Ignatian Council.
Yeah, and so from there until the Second Vatican Council, you have seen the Orthodox Church has seen those as splitting from the old tradition, right? Isn't that the idea?
I mean, obviously, we wouldn't think that's the idea. That's why, I'm not convinced
you think they're
that
valid ecumenical councils.
What? No, I'm saying that I don't think that the idea that we split from you guys. Oh, did you say how we think about it?
We're gonna do this thing. We split from you. Okay, whatever you. I mean, I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying. There was a split. You see it as the Catholic Church is an innovator, and we are standing by the old traditions. Correct?
As Orthodox, yes, I would agree with that. That's our position.
And the Oriental Orthodox have the same view towards the, whatever you want to call it, the mainstream Orthodox.
Sure.
And Protestants have the same view towards all of us, which is that as at the end of the New Testament, we started innovating with this whole idea of bishops and succession of apostles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so only Catholicism doesn't have this point of view. It has a living magisterium today that is active, that is unifying. And don't you see, like, you would see the appeal of that, right?
Yeah, I see the appeal of that in Orthodoxy. I don't have a problem.
But you don't have a living magisterium.
What do you mean? Our magisterium is all of the patriarchates coming together to make a conciliar decision. That's our magisterium.
Okay, and the last time that happened was 1670 something, right?
Yeah,
so,
we don't need councils as much as you guys do.
Okay, but I can go to a particular geographical area, and the Orthodox there will say you can get divorced and remarried. And I can go to another one and they will say you can't. Or I can use birth control in one and I can't in another. Or homosexuality is something different, right? So you don't have unity. You have no way, right? I can walk from one.
All of those things you just described are canon law, and those things can be binded and loosed by the patriarchs through economia. So it's not a disunity.
So you don't think it's a disunity for part of the church to say homosexuality is tolerated, and
Nobody says that in Orthodoxy.
Okay, well, how about divorce, like 4 divorces?
Yeah, that's something that's based off of canon law. Many different times in the first millennia, the rules regarding if you could divorce changed.
So what I'm saying is, like, you think geographically, because a different patriarch is in charge of a different, where there's difference of teaching, that's not scandalous.
Yeah, there's certain things that are absolutely necessary to believe in order to be in communion with the Orthodox Church, and then there's certain things that are canon law that can be binded and loosed by the bishops.
So if in one area I can use birth control, I can use artificial birth control, and then in another area I can't, you don't find that problematic? You don't think there should be like a teaching on something as vital to like family life as that?
Well, I mean, there's no actual patriarchate itself that makes the declaration that birth control is okay. Rather, they just say that it's something that's up to your priest to confess about. So they don't literally have a canon that they have loosed that says that you can't use birth control. That's not something that they've done. They simply just have a looser opinion on what it is in the first place, which is not the same thing.
But don't you think the church should give guidance about something as fundamental as that?
They do.
What is the
even the dioceses that have a looser opinion on birth control still talk against birth control. They just say, though, that at the same time, some circumstances may be for whatever. They may just be looser on individual people based off of their circumstances. Like, for example,
dioceses not.
What?
But other dioceses would be more rigorous, right?
Yeah, that's why you're not locked to a singular diocese. You can if there is
wouldn't that cause you to shop around though, like what's convenient, right? Wouldn't you kind of say like, well, okay. I mean, in other words, you have no unified teaching.
That again, canon law is not something that requires to be universally accepted by all patriarchates. I just said that. That doesn't mean that we're not unified. We're unified in our actual faith. Canon law is not directly connected to the faith. If it was directly connected to the faith, then priests shouldn't be riding on horses today still.
If it was directly connected to the faith, then priests shouldn't be riding on horses?
What?
I don't know what you
Yeah. So one of the early council's canons, I think it was Nicaea, either that or Constantinople I, says that clergy cannot ride on horses. It's against canon law.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anymore in either of our churches.
Right.
So things can be binded and loosed over time in canon law, and it doesn't mean that the faith changes.
Yeah, I understand. Catholicism has canon law too.
Yeah,
and
that stuff is canon law to us.
Disciplines can change, but then there's doctrine as well, right? Which is not canon law, which is not subject to change, and usually that includes faith and morals. And under morals, you'd have like major issues like marriage and divorce, birth control, homosexuality, etc., right? And so,
well, I mean, regarding like divorce and marriage and stuff like that, like even in the first millennia, that was something that was changed multiple times in the church. So, I mean, if you're saying that the Roman Catholic Church can't change things like that, then you're saying that you're not what the first millennia church did, because they did that.
They did what?
The rules of divorce and marriage changed multiple times in canon law in the first millennia.
Yeah, I understand that it was in the Council of Trent. That,
what? I said the first millennia.
You know, hold on a second. At the Council of Trent, which was in the 1500s, the Catholic Church defined the teaching on marriage as being indissoluble.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so a lot of people would say, okay, well, then before that, there was some controversy, which is true. And there were different opinions and different things like that. But we would also say that, I don't know exactly all of the evidence, but that's been obviously in contradistinction to Protestants, we've said that I think Orthodox as well as Catholics would say, like, there are no exceptions to marriage being binding. It's
yeah, anymore, sure. I mean, you guys made that decision recently. That's not something that the church in the first millennia held to.
So you're saying that when the Catholic Church defined that at the Council of Trent, that the church was acting in contradiction to earlier teaching.
I mean, just saying that everyone has to affirm something now universally is not contradicting the first millennia by itself. What I'm saying is that, like, so if you go from changing something to canon law and then making it a faith and morals issue, I'm not saying that that by itself is a problem. That's happened before in the Orthodox Church as well. But what I am saying is that if you think it's an issue that it is canon law, or that it's not dogma and that it's just canon law, then you're saying that the first millennia church is an issue because they had it as canon law.
Okay, so I'm doing a little research here. The early church fathers, Clement, Tertullian, and Augustine, all wrote that divorce was not allowed and that remarriage while the spouse lives is adultery. By the 4th century, this is firmly established in practice, although it wasn't defined. Do you disagree with that summary?
I don't disagree with their description, no. But also, there's multiple church fathers that also didn't say that, like St. Basil and St. Gregory of Nyssa.
Okay. Yeah, so there was some controversy.
St. Basil held to multiple divorces. St. Basil held to multiple divorces.
Right, okay, but neither of our churches hold that what a saint said at any time is like infallible by any stretch, right?
That's why that marriage and divorce is a canon law problem and not a dogma problem, because it wasn't defined by council.
Okay, so then, but you're saying anything which is defined by a council, prior to it being defined by a council, there's going to be controversy. Otherwise, you wouldn't need a council, right?
There could be canon controversies, right? But then if it's something that becomes an issue on faith itself, then a council would be established to fix the issue. And by the grace of God, things like that have not been established to need that yet. So
you don't think there's been any need.
129 super chatted $5. This dude is so feminine and arrogant. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
All right, the YouTube people are spicy.
No, that's no problem. I'm used to it. But what I'm saying is, so you're going to have controversy. Like Thomas Aquinas was incorrect about when when human life begins, right? And I'm sure many fathers had incorrect Aristotelian science that they used, which
like St. Augustine.
We would in both churches recognize, like that's fine. It doesn't matter. He may have said things which were based on incorrect science, which we then update. But you're saying since the last council that you've had since the 1600s, there's been no controversies which have needed the church to come together to clarify things in the entire modern world.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
unless you can name something.
Modernity is something that should be responded to.
What?
Well, you're loosely saying the entirety of modernity is irrelevant, like it's not a challenge to Christianity.
What?
So what I'm saying is, like, the Second Vatican Council, you could say, is a response to modernity, right? It's a response to the Second World War. It's a response to growing secularism, right? So the church came together, the Catholic Church came together to respond to questions which the 20th century proposed. You're saying there has been no need for that.
I mean, in the current state of the Orthodox Church, that's not really something that's come up.
Well, what is the Orthodox Church? The Orthodox Church has almost zero evangelization.
What are you talking about? Have you seen the surge in Orthodoxy in America? Like, what are you talking about?
Like the Ortho Bros?
I mean, there's some people that are Ortho Bros, sure, but
have you seen? What I'm saying is, like,
I don't think the 20-year-old couple with 3 kids are Ortho Bros, just because they recently became converts to Orthodoxy. Like, there's a lot more families that are becoming that.
Yeah, there's a minor uptick, and also of conservative.
It's not a minor uptick. I mean, since 2020, we've gained over like 600,000 followers, dude. Like,
but also Orthodox, like the Cradle Orthodox, have lost tons, as have Catholics.
Yeah, because when you're cradle, your faith is a lot harder to maintain because you grew up in that situation and you are more turned towards modernity because you grew up in tradition.
If you want to talk about in America, okay, say, and you must have faced this problem in America. If you say, like, oh, okay, I'm Orthodox, I watched Jay Dyer or something like that. Hopefully not, but like, let's say you watched someone better, and you said, like, I'm convinced by Orthodoxy. Well, you have how many different autocephalous churches? there is no such thing as the Orthodox Church in the United States, right?
What are you talking about? In the Orthodox Church of America?
So you have Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, Antiochian Orthodox. They don't have unity with each other.
What?
Right?
Where? I mean, like, where did you get that from?
So if I can go to a Polish Catholic church, I can go to a Ukrainian Catholic church.
I can go to any of those Orthodox churches that you just listed.
Well, I've actually talked with Orthodox people, and they're like, go to the Greek Orthodox Church, but stay away from Rokor. And
yeah, they say things like that because of culture. It's not saying you can't commune there. It's just saying that, like, if you're somebody who prefers to hear the liturgy in English, or you prefer to go to a church that doesn't have a heavier feeling of veiling, then go to a Greek church. But, like, if you want to go to a Russian church and be, like, really mega trad, then go to a Rokor church.
You have a Russian Orthodox bishop of a diocese in America. You'll have a Greek Orthodox bishop of the same diocese, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have multiple bishops in the same diocese, all who claim to be Orthodox, but these are autocephalous churches, right? They are not in communion with each other.
What do you?
I know what you mean by communion. Like you can take communion, but they're not part of a unity. In the way that the Catholic Church in America is. Like, you go to a Catholic church, you know they're all in communion under the Pope, right? Unless you go to a old believers church or something like that.
Being autocephalous doesn't mean that you're not in unity with the rest of the church. I don't know where you're getting that. I don't.
Well, autocephalous means like you're like,
self-governed.
The Orthodox Church is like, I don't know how many there's 13, right? Autocephalous churches.
Yeah, that means self-governed.
Right, so it's like a 13-headed creature, which each head operates as a head, right?
Yes, they all have an opinion on the matter of faith.
Okay, and so if you say, like, I'm convinced by Orthodoxy, you have to choose which of the 13 heads you're going to belong to, and then you will have a bishop who is the bishop. So you might have 13 bishops in the same diocese. You don't think that's crazy?
You guys have the same thing. I don't. What?
Catholic bishop?
If you go to a Polish Catholic church, are you telling me that your bishop is not going to be the bishop of the Polish Catholic Church?
No.
You don't have a bishop that's specific to that church that was established? Like, what do you mean by bishop, man?
You don't know what a bishop is?
I'm asking you what you think bishop means.
Well, let's say I'm in Rhode Island, right? Okay, so there's only one bishop, the Bishop of Providence. He is the bishop over the Polish, French, Italian. Right. Okay, so you don't have 13 bishops.
What? But you just admitted yourself that there's bishops of certain dioceses.
Yeah, but a diocese, geographical area.
Yeah, what do you think that the autocephalous churches are?
What I'm saying is you could have 13 bishops of the same area.
Where?
What I'm saying is, I don't know exactly where all 13 would be, but if you had enough followers, that would be how it would be, right? You would have 13 bishops I'm not sure, let's say in New York City.
Are you talking about, like, if there's a Greek Orthodox church in one state and then there's also a Russian church in the same city or whatever, that then therefore now there's two bishops?
Area. Yeah, you're going to have different bishops, right?
Yeah, because our bishopric is not only directly tied, because you have to remember there's also metropolitans as well that have control over a jurisdiction of churches within that diocese. So, I mean, like, the bishops themselves.
They control those churches that are Russian.
Thomas, are you familiar with what the Catholic Church looks like in Chicago?
Oh yeah, no, my name's Ben actually, but yeah, I'm sorry, that's my fault. Am I familiar? I was just in Chicago.
Okay, so do you know that there's like 4 bishops in Chicago?
You might have a retired bishop.
No.
You might have like a bishop of.
No, because you have the Maronites, you have the Chaldeans.
Oh right, okay, different rites.
Yeah. What's the difference within Orthodoxy? We have autocephalous churches too.
Well, those are not. The Maronite rite is not autocephalous.
But you have autocephalous churches, do you not?
I don't think we have. What do you mean autocephalous churches? Like the Maronites?
You have autocephalous churches, my friend.
You don't think the Maronites are subject to the pontiff?
They are, but this is where that's the difference between our ecclesiology. Is yours ultimately is completely centralized in the Roman See. Ours is not centralized in that same sense, but everything else below that is pretty much the same.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that there's a lot of autonomy in non-Roman rites.
And did you know that there is a bishop of bishops in Chicago, and when he wears one hat, he's the bishop over only, like literally when he wears a literal hat.
Well,
hold on.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Ecclesiology on drugs.
Thank you.
No, so like literally in Chicago, you have a bishop who I'm quite serious when I talk about the hats here. This isn't like a metaphorical hat.
Sure.
This is like how a layperson or clergy within these different autocephalous branches of the Roman Catholic Church can tell what's authoritative for them and which bishop is speaking authoritative over them. When he wears one hat, he's only speaking to the Roman Catholic rite.
But we got to use.
When he wears another hat, he's speaking to.
I just want to be clear what the word autos. I don't think the word autocephalous. You may be right. I don't think the term autocephalous would be the right term to use for a Catholic bishop, even an Eastern Catholic bishop.
Bryce, you want to just quickly Google autocephalous Roman Catholic churches?
You may be right, but I don't think that's the right term.
It is. I heard Polish Catholic, and I come from a Polish Catholic family, so.
So, if you're Polish Catholic, you are Roman.
I'm not.
If one is, I understand you're not. If one is Polish Catholic, they are generally Roman Catholic.
Yes, you were speaking accurately about how it typically is, like on the East Coast, where we have like 98% Roman Catholics, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But when you have these autocephalous, Bryce, fact check, please.
There are no autocephalous Roman Catholic churches.
No, autocephalous is an Eastern Orthodox concept.
Well, Roman Catholic is where I went wrong there, because if you're Roman Catholic, you're under Rome. But there are autocephalous rites. They are self-governing besides their community.
Autonomous, or like the Latin is sui juris. I'm reading this. They have their own jurisdiction in a certain sense.
Yes.
There's one Roman church and there's 23 Eastern Catholic church.
Yes.
Churches, Ukrainian Greek, Syro-Malabar, Melkite, Maronite, Chaldean. Yeah, okay. But they're not autocephalous in any approximate way in which, like, the Orthodox churches are.
An autocephalous church like necessitates that that basically once you get to the patriarch of whatever that diocese is,
the highest.
That's the highest it goes.
Yeah.
So like the Pope technically could reach into a Maronite rite and be like, no, you're not a bishop anymore.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. And we would see that as the principle of unity, which is there all the way back to the apostles. And you can see what I'm curious about is how you don't see that's incredibly.
99 cents. We have interjurisdictional unity, but not centralization. This guy's imam has been misinforming him about it. The Orthodox Church.
Thank you, Octavian. Appreciate that. $10.
But you must see that in many ways that although I think there's a lot of beautiful things in Orthodoxy. I really think the way that you handle, like, the pastor of every church has much more I don't know how to say it, like, autonomy than a typical Catholic pastor, and so he can guide people with more authority. He's less of sort of like almost like an employee of the bishop, which is how it often works out in Catholicism. I think that's very valuable, and I think that recent popes have really tried to bring that back in, and I think people have tried to slam, for example, Pope Francis for bringing synodality back. because they see it as an innovation, which it really isn't. And there have been an enormous number of concessions made to orthodoxy.
By the way, just so you know, Bryce, like by throwing Roman Catholic in there, the Maronite Church is autocephalous. That is a proper designation and terminology to use referring to the Maronites.
Well, I'm saying that, like, in order for something to be autonomous in the first place, it states that basically the election of bishops only ascends to the bishopric that's in that diocese, and that's not true even in, like, the Maronite and, like, the Chaldeans or any of them. The Pope still has to be okay with them.
They're still considered autocephalous.
This guy.
They are. Google is the Maronite Church autocephalous.
All right.
I think the word is autonomous. That's okay to use.
Well, it says it is.
I'm not just talking on my ass. I may be conflating on certain things, like when it comes to the different rites within, like, Roman Catholicism, because there's different designations, because there are 24.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm just reading. The Maronite Church is sui juris, but not autocephalous. The Maronite Church is one of 23 Eastern Catholic
Yeah,
churches.
sui juris. Yeah, that's what people are saying in chat.
It is autonomous in governance. It is led by a patriarch. It is in full communion with the Pope, but it is subject to papal authority in universal matters, which an Orthodox Church does not see itself as. It's not subject to papal authority. That's a huge difference. If you want to say,
what in your opinion, what are we subject to as Orthodox?
You are autocephalous, so you're subject to the head of, which in your case would be a bishop. I mean, it would be
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's the Protestant move. I'm subject to Jesus Christ.
No, but we follow the model of the first millennia, by which we follow the Holy Spirit's guidance of the Church by counsel.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and finish up this thing here, and then I'm gonna move on because I've been talking for a while.
No problem. So you're saying we don't follow councils? The Catholic Church doesn't follow council?
I mean, ultimately, like, the Pope is the vicar of Christ.
Right. We follow councils, of course. That's your problem with us. We follow too many councils, right?
No.
No,
it's the centralized authority and the elevation of man into the seat that only belongs to the God-man.
Oh, you think that the Pope is made part of the Trinity or something?
He is the vicar of Christ, in your view. Ben, let me ask you it in a very simple way. Is the Pope the head of the Church? And we can't hear you while you're outside of the app.
Might give you a phone call or something.
You back? Ben, can you hear me?
Sorry, TikTok put something here and I got confused.
Yes, no worries.
Is the Pope the head of the Church? Yes. Is
Jesus Christ the head of the Church?
Is the Patriarch the head of the Orthodox Church?
No.
Okay. So then I would say on the same grounds that the Pope is not the head of the Church. That Jesus Christ is the head of the Church.
And the Pope is not the head of the Church.
Well, is the Patriarch the head of the Church? I mean, it's kind of like, I understand we would say Jesus Christ. All of us would say that Jesus Christ is the head of the Church. But we would also say that
is the Pope the head of the Church?
He has given us vicars. The vicar of Christ is the Pope. And that you would say the Patriarch of wherever is endowed with apostolic authority to act as the head in terms of government, right?
At Zangrimadic 5,974 super chatted $5. Protestants are just autocephalous Catholics according to Vatican II. Embarrassed smiley face emoji.
thank you, Anger Medic.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate
true.
that.
They are. They're their own popes.
I mean, we'll agree on that.
Yeah, and so the same. I mean, it's the same error.
Yeah, exactly. It is the same error.
It's the same error of having 13 autocephalous heads, except you have every man his own pope. I mean, obviously, our Lord prayed for unity. There should be unity in the church, and there isn't unity in the church, and that's a grave scandal, right?
Yep.
And
we have a unity of faith, though.
Who does?
The Orthodox.
We already talked about this a while ago. I don't really want to repeat it.
Okay.
We already had a conversation about that. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Yeah. Appreciate you coming up here, man. That was a good conversation. That was nice and cordial.
Likewise. Take care.
I hope I didn't come off as a, rude or anything. I was trying not to be. But
I come off also that way. I've had a lot of ortho bro. I usually get banned instantly from any ortho bro situation, and I can see you're much more sophisticated than that. But anyways, I'd love to have like these type of conversations. I just think we have a lot more in common. I guess I would say I think we have a lot more in common than we have separating us. And I do think it's a scandal that there is this separation. I understand there are deep theological, there are deep historical issues. I just don't think they're as deep as they're made out to be. I think if the filioque is the only thing separating us, I just don't see it as worthy of that. But that being said, I have a lot of respect for what I would
do, and not to drag this on, Bryce, but like you do understand it's much more than just the filioque, right?
I really don't think the theological issues are substantive, but I'm not super
Immaculate Conception, purgatory, indulgences, papal infallibility, and supremacy.
He's talking about the 1054 schism. The specific reasoning behind the excommunications at 1054.
Fair enough.
I don't think if you look at purgatory, I know that you use different language. It's very similar compared to say a typical Protestant. It's very similar. I understand the formulation may be different, but I do think we have a shared faith.
The theology behind it is very different too.
I really don't think so.
Created versus uncreated grace.
You could do this thing like I've heard the Orthodox do is the difference between energies and the essence, that kind of thing. I think that's made up stuff.
That's literally dogmatic for us in binding.
I don't really think it's very substantive. It's just a matter of language. But I don't want to keep Bryce.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Need a break after that one. That's a long convo. Yeesh. Appreciate him coming up here though. That was pretty cordial. What the heck just happened to my TikTok? Oh. Never mind, we're good. I saw that, dude. That was rage bait. That last part was rage bait. I felt it. Like, we were just having casual talk about history, and this man just said, I think all that EED stuff is made up. I'm like, oh, that was a rage bait, bro. What's up, man?
What's up?
Nothing much. Long night so far. What's going on?
Just chilling. Tired.
Heck yeah. Same.
Wait, what was that guy saying? That there's not a big difference?
I mean, he was kind of like making it sound like the whole schism over the filioque was like not a big deal or something.
Okay.
At Javi 8129 super chatted $5. Who you calling buddy, pal?
Yeah, he did that to me multiple times too. I called him dude, and he's like, "I'm not your dude." Okay.
You're making it big, Bryce.
Yeah, man, hanging out.
You're gonna supersede Jedi soon.
Yeah, you think?
I think you're a better candidate for the Orthodox position than Jay.
Oh, thank you. I'm not your dude. Yeah, exactly.
What's your dude, bro?
I'm not a bro, dude.
What's my dude, bro?
Remember when the live got 5K views? Yeah, I don't know why that happened that one day, dude. There was one time where my YouTube stream got Like it like glitched out or something, and I don't know what happened, but there for some reason I ended up getting over 10,000 people watching all at once, and I didn't know what to do. Like, which is like that's like more than like freaking like I don't even like the most popular people on YouTube.
What? Wait, where did you get 10,000 views?
No idea. It's just out of nowhere for no reason. My views just started getting ridiculously high, and then it just kept. I was building a bike.
Where's this one?
It was actually I actually still have it up to this day. It was a debate. It was like an open debate stream like this where I was just doing open discussions, but I was building my daughter's birthday gift, like a bike, while talking to people, and then out of nowhere, I ended up getting over 10,000 concurrent people on YouTube, and like I was literally on the front page of YouTube from like a glitch.
What the hell?
And like it freaking like all of these like popular freaking people were joining saying, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "I don't know how you found me." And they're just like, I was like, I just opened YouTube and you're just on the front. I didn't know what to do, and I'm like, rare glitch, I guess. I just got super lucky somehow. I still to this day don't know how it happened, but that was funny to me. The views on it are high. No, that's the thing. Like I didn't. Like it's like I got botted or something, but like really expensively botted. Because like 10,000 concurrent viewers is like freaking. That's gotta be like $1,000, dude. Like
that's crazy.
And I don't even know what happened, but like nobody ever spoke up or said anything the whole time. Like I just had people that were in my normal chat just like constantly putting in the chat like, yo, what is the viewer count doing, bro? Because I normally get like 60 to 70 people. Oh man. Yeah, anyway, sorry, I said the word. On YouTube, and then I get like 40 to 50. Somehow I get more on YouTube nowadays, but like it was crazy. And then yeah, I know exactly. People are saying 6'7" now. Yeah, get your laughs out. I get it. I'm such an unk, dude. I always accidentally say 6'7", and then people make fun of me.
Wait, how old are you, Bryce?
I'm 25.
You have a wife?
I do, and 2 kids.
God bless, that's good.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy. Yeah. Good job, good wife, good kids, hanging out.
Good wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife. Yeah, happy life. Wait, happy wife?
Happy wife, happy life. That's the way that works.
Happy wife.
Yes. She's watching right now actually, so I can't make a joke about her. Look, she just said it in chat. She said, "I hope I'm good." Yeah, you are. I promise.
Kicked onto the sofa for a while.
Yeah, I know, right? That's fine. We co-sleep with our child, so I would definitely be okay with if she kicked me onto the couch for a couple days. That wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, my fiance kicked me onto the couch for a while.
Don't spend it all in one place. Oh, since the beginning. Yeah. Man, yeah, it feels like it was freaking yesterday where I was holding these lives and it was like 2 people max, and I'm just sitting here just talking crap with like one other guy that like is my friend just up here. And then like every, I don't know, hour or so, there'd be one person that would come in and just be like, "Why is Christianity true though?" I'd be like, okay. Do we want
wait.
So
when did you convert to Orthodoxy? Are you atheist or was you Protestant?
I was an atheist for the first like 22 years of my life. And then I became like a Pentecostal, like I went to like a deliverance conferences and stuff, and I was all up in that like casting out demons vibe. I was all up in that.
You thought you were you thought you were special.
Yeah. Dude, I was in it. I was in it.
I was
like really in it. Do you know what gosh, what is it called? Global Vision Bible Church. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea what that is. No.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Pastor Greg Locke?
I don't think so, no.
He's like the biggest Judaizer on the planet, but basically
type of people.
Oh yeah. Like freaking like the we gotta read Enoch because Enoch has a bunch of secrets in it type guy.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I was speaking in tongues. I was doing all that stuff, man. And then I became Orthodox after I started studying church history. Well, hilariously enough, the big thing that got me to start going to liturgy was the epistles of Ignatius, actually. Those were the first things that I read outside of the Bible, because I had like this weird thing in my head where I was just like, what if this is, like, do you think God likes what I do? Like, do you think that God appreciates the worship that I participate in? You know what I mean? Like, is this really how we worship the God of the universe? And so I decided, I was like, I'm going to read what the first Christians did. Because, like, the Bible, it's awesome, but, like, it doesn't really give much insight into, like, the church. Right? It's more based off of the direct ministry after Christ, like, ascended.
Yeah.
Which was more like going to houses and things like that.
I was just thinking, like, if I'm attending a Protestant church, I might as well just buy a nightclub, get a bunch of flashy lights, play Christian music, and get people drunk off like Vimto and stuff.
Yeah, and you'd be a Protestant church at that point. It'd be based.
For real.
But I started reading the epistles, and after I read about the Eucharist and I read about baptism, and then I read the Didache, and then I was like sitting there like at my computer, and I'm like, I don't do none of this shit. I don't do any, like, this dude's a disciple of John. I don't do anything that he does. I mean, now what?
I'm slowly kind of trying to get my missus to come to the Catholic Church. She's attending RCIA with me, but that's the only thing.
That catechism or whatever? OCIA? Yeah. And that, yeah. That's so you guys have like a certain name for it.
Yeah, RCIA, OCIA. I'll be baptized in like Easter time.
Oh yeah, I also met an Orthodox Christian that cooked me. That's true. Yeah, because I was actually doing apologetics when I was a Protestant. Most people, those videos are wiped off the internet. You will not find those. But I was uploading things on my channel back when I used to be called Modern Truth Apologetics.
Ooh.
And I used to just I used to just debate atheists.
Yeah.
And like that was pretty much all I debated. And like just debating about God's existence. And then freaking I was in one of those debating discords. I think it was Politics and Religion. Either that or it was Edgy. One of those two discords. Yeah, I was debating in that a lot. Debating against atheists and stuff. And preaching to people in that server, which just sounds so cringe now that I think about it.
What do you think about Haggard, that guy called Haggard?
Haggard?
Haggard, he's like Chase Haggard, whatever his name is.
Oh, Chase Haggard? I think he's cool. I know him. I've talked to him a lot. He's a cool guy.
I heard you made... Now this... sounds like a paper that I was reading. I heard you made this argument that synthesized the modal ontological argument with the transcendental argument, or an ontological argument at least.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever read a paper by this guy called David Rettier?
No.
You should give that a read. It goes over that notion of modal, or at least ontological arguments and transcendental arguments. Are you familiar with the three figures of tag by James Anderson?
No.
It's just like three ways you can formulate tag. And David Rettier goes over that kind of like Don Collett, James Anderson kind of transcendental argument. And he kind of argues, James Anderson has a response paper to it, but he argues that transcendental arguments are super fallacious because ontological arguments just do, they basically just do the job. So since the ontological arguments do the job, then you don't need the transcendental argument.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to read that.
That's a good read. I'll put his name in the chat. So,
okay.
like something like that.
Oh, Ben Thorpe and Thorpe Jr. wants to do a formal debate with me on modern day debate. Was that who that was? That guy that was in here? Thomas Thorpe or whatever? Was that? Oh, okay. Yeah, man. If you want to set something up, I'm down to set something up. It depends on what you want it to be about. You said it would be a 2v2 though, because you said it would be you and your dad. But like, I'm fine by that if obviously I get to have somebody with me, or I don't. However you want to do it, man. Because I got somebody that could join me as well.
Have you had your children baptized into
Yes.
the church?
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, Elena was convert baptized because she was already three. She was already 3 by that point. And then my youngest daughter was baptized after she was born.
You have 2 daughters?
Yeah, I do.
You treat them like princesses?
Of course I do.
That's a good dad right here, guys. Take notes.
They're gonna learn what a good man is, so that when if they try to bring somebody trashy home one day, I can be like, look at this guy, bro. Does he open the door for you? No? He sucks then.
Does he take you to mass?
Does he take you? Yeah. Does he take you? Yeah. Does he take you to liturgy? No.
Better not be taking you.
He's for the streets. He's for the streets. Does he tell you that he wants to do a Bible study at his house instead of liturgy? He's for the streets. Tell him the pet names. I don't really have any pet names. I don't really do that.
Do you have any pet peeves?
In general, or like to my daughters?
No, just in general.
Like regarding all this stuff that I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. People that claim that they have degrees and then they're really stupid.
I was what's it called?
That, by the way, that had nothing to do with the previous conversation I just had. I just want to let you know that now. That was not a shot at the guy I just talked to. I'm saying that that's
Definitely
a general
was.
problem that I have, is that there are people that like every time that I talk about evolution or like young earth creationism, these random people magically somehow have a degree in geology or something like that, and then they don't know the like basic facts about geology, and it's really annoying. It's actually because like they think that if they say I have a degree in this, that's somehow going to make me go, oh, sorry, please go on. Like my apologies.
I don't know if he's a Unitarian or he's either oneness or Unitarian. He's this white guy, and he's like, oh, I have an argument against Trinitarianism from the Bible, and he starts laying it out.
John 17:3.
I think he was a modalist. Actually, he's like very sympathetic towards Ryan Mullins, and I was asking him about attributionism in Ryan Mullins. I don't know the specifics.
Does he take his like view of time, like presentism and all that?
I'm not actually sure. I didn't speak for him for too long, but I'm pretty sure he claimed that he had a PhD or something like that. Are you a presentist?
No, not really. I don't think it's compatible with the doctrine of the Logi with Maximus.
Is that the doctrine of? So I'm assuming. So what's that? Like, if you just simplify that for me.
Like like the way that he professes divine conceptualism, I don't really think that it's in line with like how time would be perceived. At least like the way, the difference between how God would perceive time versus us. Because like Saint Maximus is pretty serious about how like, because the Logi ties in with his understanding of like the difference between Chronos and Aeon, which are like Saint Maximus seems in the Ambigua to kind of affirm A theory and B theory at the same time, and say that they're just different states, like different states of being. So like in heaven, technically speaking, like time would be perceived more in like a B theory format, and then an A theory would be perceived down on Earth, because it's he calls it that this is Chronos, this is time measured by motion, and then in heaven, or like the angels, they live in motionless time, and then there's an absolute motionless time. Yeah, and then there's
like
absolute.
By the way, boys.
Yeah, what's up, man? How's it going? And then there would be like some form of higher version of that motionless time, which would be called absolute motionlessness time, which is what God would be in, which would be technically just his presence in general, which is uncreated. But then the Aeon is created.
So we're gonna have some type of like sui generis causation. It's like different from all types of causation in the world. That we're like perceiving from an atheist perspective, what seems like a theory.
Yeah, that's pretty much kind of how Saint Maximus says it. The Chronos is kind of like a perceived understanding of the Aeon, but in a really limited way.
Have you watched Pan's Labyrinth?
No.
Do you know what it is?
I don't.
Is this like a guy called Guillermo? He's like this. I don't know if he's Spanish or Mexican, but he's this like guy that creates movies. But there's a movie called Kronos. It's actually a very interesting movie. It's like vampires and stuff like that. But it just reminded me of that.
No, Matt Sabal, Chronos is not pagan terminology. The word is literally just the word time in Greek, brother.
Yeah, I know.
Like I'm talking about the dude in YouTube that said, "Isn't that pagan?" No, that's just the word time in Greek, brother.
Alvaro put him in chat. It's Guillermo del Toro. He's.
Oh yeah, Guillermo del Toro makes some freaking fire films, bro.
Pan's Labyrinth is one. Obviously, you've got the Pacific Rim, and
is that the one where like the creature's got the eyeballs?
Yes,
yeah. I know about that.
Yeah, he just makes an old movie. It's very similar to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's like this like scarab like bites him on his hand, and he like begins to like transform into this vampire.
Oh, okay.
It's called Kronos.
Yeah, no, it's just Matzabal. It's pretty much just the way that it's described in Greek is that there's the time and then there's the age. Aeon is age, and time is Chronos, and it's pretty much just the age that's described in the Bible is considered basically the timeless time or the motionless time. And that's something that the angels perceive, and that's the way that heaven exists in, and that's technically the thing that overall encompasses what we perceive as Chronos. We just don't have the ability to understand Aeon because we're not enlightened through theosis to be able to do so.
So, divine conceptualism is to just claim that universals are only post-rem, like they only exist in God's mind before things, right?
Yes, but then we would also claim that due to the fact that they exist in God's mind, they have a proper ontology that can still be referred to.
Okay, right, I see. Because I would be like,
that would be different from like Augustine's, right? Because like Augustine's is a little bit more like it exists in God's mind, but because it's only in God's mind, we'd say it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, do you know Albert Magnus?
You said I don't know.
He so are you familiar like mathematical structuralism? Do you know how there's like post rem there's in rebus mathematical structuralism and anti-rem mathematical structuralism, like those types of views of structuralism. In the same way, Albert Magnus says universals exist post-rem, in rebus, and anti-rem. So they exist in God's mind as universals, they exist in particular things, and they exist in their own right. So they exist in like 3 different ways.
Yeah. I'd say that's kind of like pretty similar to like Saint Maximus, but Saint Maximus also like declares things as existing a lot based off of like human perception as well. Like when you're like, for example, like in his 200 chapters on theology, when he talks about God being pure act, he says that God is pure act insofar as we can perceive him in that manner, but he's technically above that notion. Right. So like it's kind of like the similar thing of that, where he'll say that like universals do truly exist, but they have their own ontology insofar as the fact that they can be referred to properly in their own right, kind of like a formality in a way.
So I'm assuming you hold to via negativa, right? The like apophatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the essence,
Yeah, to the essence.
And the hypostases themselves. I mean, because they'd be materially with the essence, but.
So I guess the way you'd understand pure act is through like an analoga, or like for an analogy.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it wouldn't be able. Like, yeah, we wouldn't say that God is like univocally pure act or something like that.
Yeah. There's a really good. I know. There's like obviously analogy of attribution, analogy of proportionality, and then Cartesian has like a 5-fold view. It's like improper proportionality, proper proportionality. I know there's like attribution proportionality. I don't know the other one. Like all the scholastics speak about that in different ways, regarding like that. notion of analogical predication, univocal predication. Like the Scotists, a lot of people say the Scotists just believe in pure univocality, which is not true.
No,
They
that's
believe
not
in-
that's not true at all. No.
They believe in well, the way that Bartholomew Mastrius puts it is
They believe in univocity insofar as the created order compared to the energies.
yes, the logical univocality and the metaphysical analogy.
Yep. Yeah, that's something that we kind of differ in as well, though, because we affirm the general understanding of like formalities that Scotus talks about, but we still affirm analogy of being still. So we just believe that due to the fact that we possess the nous, we have the ability to basically make proper analogies that do purport to God, but not literally, like a univocal predication would be.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Have you ever seen? This is kind of like random. Have you ever seen this paper? It's called the quasi-formal real immanent distinction.
I don't think I have, no.
Dude, it's actually like low-key kind of cool. It's so random though. Like I don't know who this guy is, but he really cooked with this, and it's by Filio Kalo Neo F Me.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, he invented a new distinction in scholastic terminology called the quasi-formal real immanent distinction, which basically he uses the understanding of a real distinction, but he doesn't use it in the understanding of like Aquinas's actus essendi. So he basically doesn't affirm actus essendi though, but then he determines that things can still be really within the thing. And then it says, developed through the structural reevaluation of Thomas Aquinas' real distinction, the QFRID emerges from participatory when the participatory element is conceptually suspended, revealing a hidden but coherent distinction that persists essence and existence without relying on external causality, modal necessity, or mental abstraction. It does not collapse into existing categories such as real, formal, conceptual, or virtual. Instead, it represents an internally structured, immanently grounded in differentiation within being itself, and that is de re, yet neither modal nor brute, and neither aspectual or non-aspectual in the traditional sense. It's really cool. It's super cool. It was a really, really, really cool theory that he came up with, because like it kind of like falls in line a lot more with like how we talk about the real distinction, because like this version of that distinction denies univocity of being, and it also denies like the participatory element of like Aquinas' understanding of like if you're participating in existence, then it's a real distinction, blah blah blah. So then therefore God cannot participate in existence; he must be identical to existence. So he basically suspends that necessity, suspends univocity of being, and then also makes it to where it's not a modal or brute fact as well. So like it's a really cool. I put it in the. I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually paste this. It's probably going to get me in trouble, but freaking, it's this paper on. It's this paper on Phil Archives. That's the ID for it.
Okay, thanks. It reminds me of something John of Basilis is trying to do. He's one of the. John of Basilis is one of the main Scotists, the earlier Scotists. He's the doctor's, like the subtle doctor's favorite student. But he has in his commentary on the sentences, he lays out his types of distinctions. So he believes in the what's called an essential distinction for him, a real distinction, a formal one, and a rational one. And then there's like subcategories. But he gives like an argument for why a real distinction, according to the way that he categorizes it, can never occur in God. And he uses the finitude of extremes, like how radical infinity can't account for the finitude of the extremes in created things. So if the termination of identity in the contingent order of beings terminates in some identity in this entity and then the other entity, then you can't say that in God, because God's radically infinite. So it never terminates. So there can never be a real distinction.
Thank you very much, Daedalus, for the $10 there. He says, for the grift. Amen, dude. We're at 11 out of 15 super chats. That's fantastic. I appreciate you guys for supporting the stream tonight. But, yeah, there's a lot of people that have come up with, like, some pretty dang cool, like, kind of like, I don't know, quasi distinctions that are like in the middle of all of like the major ones that are talked about by like the earlier scholastics. I do like reading about them because I do like that, like, you know, people are still positing new ideas. I do like that kind of stuff. But
there's one called the it's like a John Basilis has this logical conceptual criteria, which is per se primo modo non identity, which is it's neither is identical to the other in the first mode of per se predication. So what it does is it establishes the conceptual irreducibility at the essential level. So, for example, wisdom and the essence in God are not essentially the same predicate. So they're neither definitionally identical nor adequately identical. So X and Y, they don't share the same definition. So divine wisdom and divine justice have different formal definitions.
3,590 super chatted $5. Does the concept of privation or evil exist in God's mind as well? Like the possibility of evil or privation?
I mean, like in our view, like God still knows the things that are against him, even if he doesn't make something that's against him. So he still would know, technically speaking, the privation of good, right? He would know what it is to not be him, even if nothing is created. But that doesn't really mean that, like, then, you know, evil is grounded in God's mind, if that makes sense. Because it's technically, he's afraid, like he knows of a negative. And if he knows of a negative, then that means that, like, if something becomes that negative, it's not God that participates in that. But thank you for the $5 there, Erica. That was a good question. That was interesting to think about. Yeah, the Maximus's understanding of divine conceptualism is really cool because it goes super in depth, and he's like one of the only saints I actually know about that goes that deep into like cosmology and stuff like that, and I like that a lot. Other than like Saint Basil with like the hexameron and stuff like that.
Speaking about God knowing things, you were speaking about Desay. No, you speaking about Deray actually. Never mind. But
Yeah, it's Deray.
Yeah, I was speaking about Desay knowledge. There's a guy called Norman Kretzmann, and he's very big on like these omniscience kind of problems with God. And he wants to say, when people have Deray knowledge, or Desay knowledge, should I say, which is like first person knowledge that's unavailable to other people, like you have this kind of first person experience that I don't have, and it's particular to you because you are you. So when you know that I am in the hospital, that differs from knowing that I am in the hospital, that I know that I'm in the hospital, because I might believe the latter without the former due to like amnesia or like identity confusion. So that might create like some dilemma. So if omniscience requires knowing everything everybody knows or anybody knows, God can't be omniscient without being identical to each person.
How long have you been studying this stuff for?
A year-ish.
Man, are you a Spurg or something?
No, not really.
You'd just be getting into such like in-depth stuff, man. Like you're talking about the freaking like the mathematical structuralism and stuff like that, and like that was just fucking okay. It's like that's like, I guess it's because like it's not really something that like directly involves like the apologetic stuff that I do, so I just kind of like don't. Like I kind of just like don't study stuff like that, and so when people start getting that in depth about like different ways that you view things like mathematics and stuff, I'm kind of sitting here and I'm like,
Did you know
yeah,
the,
dude.
You know the paradox of insolubles?
No.
You like the liars paradox, like insolubles.
Like yeah. Liar's paradox. Thank you.
Yeah. I was actually looking into that. It's because structuralism. Like when I was speaking about anti-REM structuralism, this guy called Stuart Shapiro, and he's talking about like algebraic theories, which is like group theory.
Shapiro?
Yeah, Shapiro.
Ove.
I was thinking about this. So it seems that the lies paradox has what's called a non-communicative structure. So the operators in the lies paradox don't commute. So like when I say when we're looking at the operator that deals with self-reference, and then the operator that deals with evaluating the truth, they're not the same thing. So it's different from the kind of stratified hierarchy that Tarski speaks about, the T out and the T in, like the T schema kind of notion of distinguishing these two types of things. So I was thinking, in that way, you don't just avoid the lies paradox, you kind of get around the revenge paradoxes, where you say that either this sentence is false or it's meaningless. So you avoid this kind of infinite regress if you say they're not commuting with one another. But this is exactly what exactly what, what's his name, the self-falsification theory. I think it's Swinestead that talks about it. I'm not sure. Pretty sure, but it's exactly what he's groping towards.
I was changing the title of the stream on the YouTube side for when it uploads. There we go.
But yeah, it's the isomorphism that I kind of discovered. So like if you're looking at the order operations within like self-reference and stuff, if you're applying self-reference, then evaluation produces different fixed points or different fixed point behavior, which is what Kripke is wanting to say. And applying evaluation, then self-reference. So then when I say this statement is not true in a non-communicative system, it doesn't behave like this statement is not true in what I was saying before, like the Tarski style kind of thing. Because Tarski avoids global truth by language stratification rather than like algebraic communication. And that's why revenge paradoxes are algebraic and they're order sensitive. So when a system tries to enforce communicativity, or it collapses levels, which is what Tarski does, this usual kind of move, or this syntactic restriction, which aims at blocking a particular layer, and you have an adversarial sentence that can be formed that changes the composition of the operators and then restores the contradiction. And that's what, if you look at the knights and the knaves, that architecture is the same pattern, but it's redistributed as the system level constraint instead of the unary self-mapping. So in Aristotle's Oathbreaker and the Sophistical Refutations, he splits the reading into two different things.
Just blowing my mind with these truth nukes right now, bro. I don't like so far different than like the type of stuff I study, bro.
I don't know. Yeah, you're like a good on theology and stuff. I don't really know.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like all of that kind of stuff, like just like general philosophy. Like I don't study that stuff, man. So like I'm interested and I'm listening, but I'm also just like I don't know what the hell that man just said, but hey, that sounded cool. Matzabal said, "I'm curious. Do Orthodox Christians see Yahweh as God or only the Father of the Old Testament?" I don't know what the hell that means. Yahweh is the Father. I don't.
Just confused on the language.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, are you trying to like assume that like the Father is not the Yahweh of the Old Testament automatically, or what, bro? You like a weird Sethian or something? What's up, Jay?
Hello, Jay.
How's it going?
Not much, man. What's going on?
Pretty good. It's been a minute since I've been on one of your panels.
It's been a while since I've actually done an open panel. I took a break from that for a while because there was a little too much brain rot going on in my life. Needed to segregate myself and just do some lectures and some debate reviews because those are more fun.
Yeah,
the debate reviews are always really fun. I like torturing myself with listening to Ahmed Qureshi say dumb shit for 2 hours.
You know, actually,
bro, that last review YouTube was cracking, man.
I did a debate lined up with Ahmed Qureshi, right?
Why would you do that, though?
No. So when I joined, we started debating. Mid-debate, he's like, "Yeah, I'm like up over my head with this like debate stuff." He's like, "I can't debate you." And then he starts like mid-debate. He's like, "Oh, so what are your aspirations in your life? You know, do you go to the gym? Do you like plan on having children? What job do you want in your order?" And the debate just like dissolved into him like asking about my life and all these different things. And then he ended up just leaving the debate.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was like very strange. And
Ahmed Qureshi did that?
Yeah, and then if anybody else was debating, he'd be like, "Oh, shut up! You're not like this guy. This guy's like very good in like the world and on philosophy." And I'm like, "What?"
Ahmed's a funny guy, bro.
Yeah, he was trolling. So
He told me that I was running from him the other day because I was reviewing his debate with the Word Wins, and he like called me out to do a Tawhid versus Trinity debate, and I was like, I'll do you one better. I'll just defend the Trinity. I don't give a shit about Tawhid. I really don't. Like freaking, I don't care to try to critique it. I will literally just sit there and embarrass you on the Trinity for 2 hours. I don't care. Like, and then he's like, "You're running." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I just offered to only defend my position. How am I running?"
I remember when he was debating I think it was Jay Dyer, and it was like something to do with secondary primary substances.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you think about this Neoplatonist's position on primary secondary substances?" And Jay Dyer's like, "What do you mean? Neoplatonists don't believe in primary secondary substance. That's Aristotle." And he's like, "No, but the primary secondary substance."
Yeah, or no, it was about Augustine.
Yeah,
he said that. Yeah, he's like, "What do you think?" Because Augustine was Aristotelian, and Jay's like, "What the hell did you just say?" So did you just say that freaking Augustine was Aristotelian?
Didn't even have access to that stuff.
Exactly, dude. Like, what?
That came with Boethius and the kind of translations and stuff, which came a lot later.
Yeah.
Hey, Bryce, I actually came up here to discuss one of your topics.
Okay.
Can we talk about young Earth?
Yeah, dude.
So, what is the general timeline that you personally hold to when you're talking about young Earth creation?
I hold to the standard Byzantine calendar of affirming that the Earth, in terms of it being linear days, is 7,642 years old, I think, at the moment. But I also affirm that the Earth could be at least up to 10,000 years old in terms of how long Adam was in the garden.
Gotcha. I ain't gonna lie. I don't hold to that year, but I also do not hold to like a 100 billion-year-old Earth as well.
100 trillion bajillion-year-old universe.
But I also can't come to the conclusion of a 7,000-year-old Earth.
So what number are you at right now? What number are you at right now? Sounds like you're becoming more based, but
I think I would be comfortable in placing the Earth's age up to maybe around 500,000 years old, only because of just I mean I don't know regarding the objects that we find. I mean,
so you'd say that dinosaurs existed 500,000 years ago then, or what?
In regards to dinosaurs, I would probably say that they probably existed amongst the first human beings.
So freaking based. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Good lord. So many people think that's crazy, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, kind of reading the Old Testament in Hebrew, I think when they're talking about specific animals, those animals are, animals that we don't have access to. But I mean, I could be wrong. The only reason why I generally don't hold to young Earth creation, would you say you personally hold to an actual 7-day period of God either creating or forming the Earth?
I would say that I would say that it was 7 days, insofar as the perspective of Moses. We don't know actually the time that it occurred, but I wouldn't say that it was millions of years like old Earth people would try to say that means. I would just say that Moses received divine revelation enough, I think, to purport it in truth to a degree. Obviously, he used what he had and what he knew about days and time and all that kind of stuff. But he also was an enlightened person who received direct revelation of the creation of the universe. So I think that God may have granted him the grace to be able to explain that in a pretty explicit way.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would ever come to like the conclusion of your stance, only because of like how we have so much dating regarding like civilizations that predate 7,000 years old.
Yeah, but what do they
Just,
use to date them? I mean, it's the
I
same
mean, some of
conversation I'm just
them
gonna have with
either,
any like old Earth guy, bro. Like
yeah,
what?
yeah. I mean, you can, I mean, obviously, like the critique can be against carbon dating, and I understand like carbon dating isn't perfect, but
I mean, I hope you're not using
um,
carbon dating to determine that something's 500,000 years old.
no, no, I'm not like an atheist or a naturalist to that.
No, I'm just saying
But
that like carbon 14 dating is completely useless past like 40 to 60,000 years.
yeah, yeah. But I'm saying within like the carbon dating like method, I mean it does seem to date a lot of civilizations that existed well over 10,000 years.
Yeah, but the
Um
method that they're using to date them for that is usually based off of the fact that they're found in a certain rock sediment layer, right?
typically but yeah, I mean I think majority of where I point to is just like the Asian civilizations, like pre-Vedic area. So like the Aryans, that's what like Ayrans.
Yeah.
Um, and they're said to come from Europe, but we actually don't know too much about those group of people. But in regards to like dating civilization, like we can see movement of humans like past um, civilizations that we know, such as like the Vedic area and such.
Yeah, I know. I know that like obviously we can see evidence of people existing like in certain time periods, but the problem still lies the exact same way that any other like old earth person would have their burden of proof is that if you see something at a certain rock sediment layer, you have to assume that first off that the tectonic plates have not shifted in that time period. Because tectonic plates by itself have old earth people, for example, like they actually make certain arguments about these findings that we've had, because we've actually had findings that dinosaurs and human beings have been found on the same strata level. And so the argument from atheists would not be, oh, well, maybe they live together. No. Their argument is, oh, well, the tectonic plates shifted, so the rock sediment was completely off.
Yeah, no, I mean within like the empirical science field, a lot of what they use to determine a lot of like such as evolution theories is based off of like the movement of tectonic plates
I
within
mean,
the
I
Earth.
think that I think that's something that might convince you more of like my position, though. Have you looked at like the studies that have been done on like samples for like diamonds?
No.
So there's a lot of studies that have been done recently, like on diamonds, and the carbon 14 count. Hilariously enough, actually, carbon 14 dating actually helps my position a lot. Um, if you look at the decay rate, of course, of carbon 14,
Mhm.
right? The half life is normally around 500,000 to a million years ish, right? That's why that past 60,000 years it's pretty much useless, because it's mostly just undetectable past that point. But um, so basically, if you can detect carbon 14 in something, then that means that whatever that thing is must have existed prior to at least 60,000 years old, right? Or it must have
Yeah.
existed at least after that, because there's still carbon 14 within that sample. Now, that would be a problem for my position if the rocks yielded results for the old Earth, but it doesn't. Because pretty much virtually most of all the diamonds that people have actually put into testing machines for that kind of stuff, because they actually will like dip it in like this special acid and like clean it really hard to make sure that there's no contaminants before they test these types of things, is that they found that like there's like 300 times the normal amount of carbon 14 intrinsic to the diamond,
Yeah, and I can
which
see
is
the issue there.
Yeah, but the problem is that diamonds are the oldest rocks on the planet. So like, how is that possible then? If the Earth was 500,000 years old, even that I couldn't even grant that time period with that study.
Yeah, I mean, the only other reason why I'm also not like an per se old Earth creationist is because of like the advancement of uh, civilizations in the past, 1,000 years or 2,000 years. Like
Yeah, but
to kind of put
the
it
advancement though is based off of discovery though, because
yeah, yeah.
like we were growing at a pretty dumb rate, like slow wise, up until the Industrial Revolution. When the Industrial Revolution became a thing, that was when we started skyrocketing our advancements, because of the fact that after we understood the general theory of how to make industrial items, that then basically completely just kickstarts all of the other things that are way more advanced that come after that. And so like using like societal advancement, I think would also be an issue, because when you look at like, I mean, my biggest argument against like what your position would be the magnetic field of Earth. I don't think that the Earth is capable of even existing 500,000 years ago based off of the decay rate of the magnetic field. Because the magnetic field of Earth, at the rate that it decays, 60,000 years ago, the 60,000 years ago, the Earth would be the same pressure as a neutron star, which is ridiculous.
I mean, the the only other thing that I kind of have against that is like, yes, we could say that maybe the Earth has a shorter, lifespan than like like billions of years, but in regards to kind of like the universe in itself and like the
Yeah.
stars in the sky and obviously the planets around us, I mean, I don't see 7,000 like or 7 to 10 within that.
I mean, even if you see things that are like even if you see things that are fully formed, like that are way outside of our own system, like even some of the biggest discoveries, like by like the James Webb Telescope, has actually like revealed more of like a young Earth position. Like if you look at like, for example, galaxies that are like 10 billion light years away and they're 10 times the size of Earth and more fully formed. I mean, 10 times the size of the Milky Way. My bad.
Gotcha. So,
But they're 3 billion light years away, though.
God. So, would you just kind of view that as like either the planets or the stars that we see as younger than the Earth?
No, I would just say that like everything was created in a pretty simultaneous manner. Like I believe that everything was created in its position and then was set to naturally expand from itself. Because especially like a couple of recent studies on like trying to determine like redshift and also determining the expansion of the universe in general. A lot of studies have come out recently of people saying that it doesn't seem like the universe is expanding from a center point. Everything's expanding equally from itself, from the objects in their direction.
Gotcha.
And so it doesn't help the whole like singular, the Big Bang or anything like that with those studies especially.
Yeah, I mean, even if we were to like deny like a Big Bang theory, I mean it's just kind of odd that like a person of faith that believes in a higher being would have been okay with publishing something like that.
Sorry, 1 second here. I gotta take a look at something. Somebody told me to take a look at this live once it started, but apparently there is a
king is inviting with the servants, meaning these are the prophets.
live happening.
And then the second stage, the Jews unalive the prophets. They mistreat them, as Nehemiah says, as John the Baptist.
Okay. Yeah, no, what I'll do is that I I definitely want to keep talking about this, but I did say that I was going to watch this while it was happening, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
but
fine.
yeah, no, I definitely want to
I
keep
was-
discussing this with you because you have a unique position. But
Yeah, because
yeah.
I was originally going to go into like evolution. Like I don't obviously believe in like Darwin's idea of evolution, but I do believe that when God created the earth, that there was some sort of evolution going on
Yeah.
regarding like maybe the possible substance that, were evolving and that created, for like let's say for example, like did God create a new species that we have found to be a new species versus like the original form. So let's say, for example, that
I mean, that's
we
that's
have,
implying that there was some original form that didn't exist
yeah,
prior to that.
yeah, yeah. But I'm saying like, did God have the intent to, actively produce this new species as he did actively producing creation, and so that's kind of like why I say like not I forgot the term, but the idea of that there is some sort of evolving going around, but it's not exactly like Darwin's idea of evolution.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I land on. But it's all on the presupposition that I don't believe that faith and science are in battle. I believe that
I don't think so either.
um, they both work.
Yeah, I think they both work, but I also do think that a lot of things that people call science are not science.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, when we're talking about scientific theories, they are theories. Thus, we don't have to accept the theories. Hopefully, we accept the laws in science, which is the laws of nature
Yeah.
that God has, deemed. So I don't, obviously, rejecting scientific laws, it's very
Okay, I'll
scary.
just count down. 3,
But
2,
All right,
1.
I'm gonna go ahead and start watching this now, so I can
All
all right,
praise to
cheer
the
I'll
on
true
drop.
word
God,
wins.
the only
No,
true
you're good,
God,
bro.
who Muhammad was not a messenger of, by the way. Tonight's debate is not complicated. Either Muhammad is prophesied in the Bible or he's not. Logic leaves no third option, right? According to the law of excluded middle, which is a proposition that cannot
And
be
I hope
both
this
true
is
and
gonna be good.
false at the same time, in the same sense. Therefore, if Islam must
You guys hear
establish
this
a
okay?
claim in a way that's inherently
Because I'm not
coherent,
gonna be able to like pause
it
this
must
technically.
align with the
It's
biblical
live.
description of what makes a prophet. And if Muhammad is a prophet or a true prophet, in this case, according to the biblical narrative, then he cannot contradict what it means to be a true prophet, and he can't contradict any of the previous prophets. My friend here is doing an internal critique, so he's going to have to allow me to use my Bible to my full advantage. That's what's great about being a Christian and defending the Holy Scripture. Okay, we see that he makes a positive claim that supposedly the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament foretold an Arabian prophet who would come centuries later. Well, if that claim is to be true, then the biblical text should identify that clearly, and he should not contradict it in any aspect, meaning it must at least share some lineage about him, maybe his mission, his doctrine, in a way that would fit him as being a true prophet. But we know that that's not true according to the biblical narrative. It's
What
very,
is this
very
debate
simple.
about? It sounds like he's
So let's
doing
let's see what
the
the Bible
continuity
teaches
argument.
us.
Bryce
We
wanted
see
to
that
ask about
Jesus is
something, but
worshipped
another
as Lord,
time,
that
my
he
brother. Oh, sorry about
sits
that,
on the
man.
divine throne and
I didn't know that you
rules
were still trying to
throughout
ask
the
something. My
kingdom,
apologies.
that he is the Messiah and he is called Mighty God, and that the Son of Man receives everlasting dominion over all nations, and that the covenant is fulfilled within him. People ask, well, how is this relevant to the topic? I'm glad people are asking this question. This is why.
The word
If
wins
Muhammad
is
is a true
debating
prophet according to the biblical
this guy.
narrative, then he
I have
cannot
no
contradict
idea who that
Jesus.
is.
If Jesus Christ is the true prophet according to the biblical narrative, then he cannot contradict Muhammad. So let's see what Jesus says in Luke
He's doing
chapter
the
10, verse
continuity
16. The
argument.
one who listens to you listens to me.
The word
And the one
wins
who
in a
rejects
spaghetti
you
name.
rejects me, and he who rejects me rejects the one who sent me. Okay, does Muhammad reject every claim what Jesus claims to be in the Holy Scripture? And by the way, guys, they affirm that Muhammad is the Son of Man, but hold on. Mark chapter 14, verse 62, Jesus says he is the Son of Man. So
Man,
now we have an
Darren
issue.
Dorsey is just
And if
coming
the
in with
same
these heat
primary
debates,
source
bro.
for both using to
I got to
prove
give that to
or
him. This
disprove
man's
Muhammad,
always figuring out how to
why
get
is it
people
that
together.
according to the paradigm it's saying that Jesus is the Son of Man, yet he's saying that Muhammad is the Son of Man? or that Islam is this fifth kingdom. How is that the case if Jesus claims the kingdom to himself? Makes no sense, right? The Quran denies all five claims, by the way. All five claims. So if the Bible is true, Islam is false. If the Bible is false, Islam cannot quote it to validate Muhammad's prophethood without committing the fallacy of selective authority. No one can reject a text authority yet selectively extract the verses from it as proof. That's what we call cherry picking, people. And this is what Muslims like to do a lot because their reasoning is irrational. This is the stopping point that us Christians will not allow Muslims to butcher our scripture, to use it as an advantage. We are going to
What
stop
is the
this here.
debate
I'm going
on?
to
I
show
can't
today
figure out the
that my
topic.
opponent is going to concede in three ways. One, he affirms the Bible is true, Islam is false, therefore his argument is false. He says the Bible is false, therefore he's using a primary source which is false, meaning his argument is false. Or three, he affirms that Muhammad is not in the Bible, and therefore his argument is false. Let's go on. Let's go on a few verses though.
Pretty sure that me and the
They
Word
usually like
Winds
to
actually
pull up.
talked about this
We
argument in
have
DMs. Hold on.
Deuteronomy
Like
18 says a prophet must come
I'm
from
pretty sure I
among your
remember him
brothers.
telling me
In
about
the
this.
Torah,
It's like a different.
brothers literally means Israelites. What happened to Genesis 17, where the king, where there's supposed to be a king that is to
Yeah, we had a
come,
conversation
is
about
from
this.
among their brothers. And why is it that Moses is addressing the
Is Muhammad in the
Israelites,
Bible?
saying from among your brothers?
Ugh.
Was a king, according to the book of Genesis? I
Bro,
believe
low
it's chapter
key, I kind of
17.
don't want to watch
I
it.
might have quoted it wrong if I did. Okay.
I will review that at another date. I don't have the energy for that. That debate is, that type of conversation is so boring. Yakovos, do you want to come up here and ask your question now, dude? I don't really want to do that right now. Sorry, Coptic. I want to watch that at a later time. Is Muhammad in the Bible is so, first off, incredibly boring. And second off, is just such a dumb debate. I don't get the point of trying to make that argument. I understand that technically speaking, the Quran says that he's in it, so then therefore they have to try to prove it, but like, psh. Ooh, jeez. You should debate Metaphysics Mike. I have debated him multiple times in the past. I actually have a video uploaded of me and him debating on the Trinity on my page. He doesn't ever try to debate me anymore for some reason. I've debated him twice now, and he doesn't really address anything that I say anymore. So I kind of gave up on him, Jim Bob. What's up, Anthony?
What's up?
Nothing much, man. Hanging out. Jay, did you have anything else that you were trying to address when we were talking about the age of the Earth? Oh, you came back up.
I mean, I can wait after your conversation with the other person in here.
Anthony's Orthodox. He agrees with me.
Oh, I wasn't sure if he was the person that
He's
wanted to ask
he's
you
one
a
of my mods.
question.
No, he's one of my mods. He's chill. He
Okay.
studies
I
stuff like
wasn't
this.
sure I wasn't sure if he was the same guy that asked like a question at the end or something.
Oh yeah. No, you're good.
I forgot his name.
What were we talking about? We were talking about I was talking about the James Webb Telescope, talking about the redshift that was seen in the galaxies that are like 3 or 4 billion light years away or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the whole problem with basically trying to date things based off of the fact that light is capable of being seen that far away, that makes that pretty much impossible. The fact that we were able to find galaxies that are 10 times the size of the Milky Way, but they're supposedly like 3 to 4 billion light years away, that means that galaxy was fully formed at least 4 billion years ago. But then one of the ways that we use to judge the age of the universe is by the way that the Milky Way formed, which is kind of dumb. You know, like a lot of the stuff that people will try to say is science is not science. That right there, that's not science. That's a narrative that then people then apply science to. No trace. I do have papers refuting the filioque, actually. I wrote a book on it. It's in the Discord server. It's in Brycecord. It's like 200 pages. It's called Against the Filioquist. I literally wrote a whole book on that, on the Filioque. It's has theological arguments, arguments from logic, and multiple florilegiums of the fathers, and refuting common father quotations that try to prove that it affirms Filioque. That's on my Discord server if you want that. But
A quick question about the filioque. This question is going to be stemming mainly from a biblical text, just because it's pretty fresh on my mind. If you give me like 30 seconds, because I'm actually reading like this book that I need to read for a quiz that's due tonight. So I just have like half a page left. If you give me
Yeah,
like
you're
30
good.
seconds, I could pull up the scripture and just kind of ask about it.
Yeah, you're good. Anthony, did you see my thing that I gave earlier about all the pictures of like dinosaur inscriptions and stuff?
I heard you talking about it earlier, but I didn't see any pictures now.
Dude, it's pretty wild, man. Like the evidence for like dinosaurs existing alongside humans is pretty wild. Like these are like ancient inscriptions. Like this is one from Pompeii. And then you see this like big 11th century mosaic of Egypt. These are all regular creatures that existed supposedly in the time of ancient Egypt, which was written in the 11th century. And then you go down here. What the hell is that?
That looks like some dang raptor. Yeah.
So it's just like a velociraptor just chilling, bro. This is a mosaic in Israel. That's a triceratops, bro.
I wonder if they were friendly back then, you know? If you could ride one.
Most of these mosaics depicts the people fighting them, so I don't think so. But actually, now that you said that, we do have this. We have this ancient carving of a man riding a triceratops.
Like, they had to be tameable if, like, any other animal creature could be tameable.
I know, right? They had to be. Granted, some of these statues that were made, though, one of them is like this one right here. It's like a biped. It's like a freaking biped dinosaur of some kind, like eating a man.
Bryce,
Okay,
what would your dinosaur steed be?
It would probably be a triceratops, bro. I think that, like, based off of all these inscriptions and the statues that people have made, I feel like that they were the meta. I feel like triceratops were the meta mounts. Like nobody was riding T-Rexes, bro. But like,
yeah,
look,
the Muslim, like the Ottoman Empire, they had like their elephant mounted.
Oh,
look. This is
imagine riding into battle on a triceratops instead of an elephant. Like
exactly.
Oh, you know.
Dude, and freaking like these like ancient Mayan mosaic. Like, look at this dude. He's freaking screaming because there's a velociraptor that stuck his head in a window.
Imagine just unleashing like a swarm of velociraptor on
Yeah, exactly. And then this is also a really interesting one. In the 1300s, actually, Marco Polo said this. He said, "Here are found snakes and huge serpents, 10 paces in length and 10 spans in girth. And at the forepart near the head, they have 2 short legs, having 3 claws like those of a tiger, with eyes larger than a 4-penny loaf and very glaring. The jaws are wide enough to swallow a man, and the teeth are large and sharp, and their whole appearance is so formidable that neither man nor any kind of animal can approach them without terror." And this is from the travels of Marco Polo, where apparently he went somewhere in Asia, and they had a village where they were using whatever the hell this thing is to carry their shit.
Did bro just reference penny loafers?
4-penny loaf.
Oh, loaf, like okay, never mind.
And then freaking in the Temple of Ravan's Lanka, which is I think it's in India, they said that these apparent 4 tusk elephants were guarding the temple, but these things apparently went extinct 1.6 million years ago.
Right.
And then freaking here's a bunch of carvings from the Incan Empire, where they actually are putting these special little circles on their skin right here. And in the fossils that we have of like a bunch of these dinosaurs, they have those freaking circles in them, bro. The exact shit.
Can you pull up the description of Leviathan?
Yeah, actually I can do that here. Let me just walk through these real quick. Oh yeah, look at this, bro. Are we dead ass right now?
Hey, yo.
That's a whole Triceratops.
That's a whole Triceratops, bro.
When are these dated to?
Nah, bro, that's just a
The freaking
that's a
early
well dressed
ADs.
unicorn.
Damn.
Like freaking 3rd, 4th century AD, bro.
They were just decorating unicorns, bro.
I know, right? Oh, and then here's like the oldest ones that we got. These are like several thousand BC. Like, look at this shit. A whole Brachiosaurus just chilling with these people, man. Like, what are you gonna tell me? That's a giraffe?
It looks like a Loch Ness monster, to be honest. They finally found it.
I know. I mean, like, honestly, bro, the Loch Ness Monster, I think, like, the fact that people cite stuff like that is evidence towards the fact that something like that could possibly just still exist in extremely small numbers. I mean, like, because when, like, look, all of the full skeletons that we have, they died like this, bro. What is he doing? What does it look like he's doing? Looks like he's drowning, bro. He's gasping for air, bro. As well as this one. And then all of the freaking armored dinosaurs were found, like 70% of them were found upside down. Because when they got hit by the flood, they drowned. Like, they just sank.
Turtles all the way down, bro.
And most of the fossils that were even found in the U.S. especially, because like most of like all fossils are in the U.S., they were found at the highest peaks on Earth.
Are you looking at dinosaur fossils?
We're looking at dinosaur fossils and also the fact that there's actually a lot of evidence towards them living with the first humans.
Wow, but this is definitely real.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
This is definitely 100% solely real.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go. Like, dinosaurs, man. Like,
Dion, what would your dinosaur steed be?
Bro, if I'm going to be real with you, oh, shit. I know Bryce J would be like a velociraptor or some shit.
No, dude, I said Triceratops. Look, this is an ancient figure of a dude riding a Triceratops, brother.
You can't steal that, bro. Okay, if you pick Triceratops...
Triceratops is the meta. I think
it's the meta. Most of these people drew Triceratopses. Most of them drew
It's the equivalent of having like an ancient Bond car with guns on the front.
Okay, look, if you pick Triceratops, I'm going to have to pick a pterodactyl, bro. That's low-key lit. You can't lie, a pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl? No, I think more of like a Quetzalcoatl pterosaur, bro.
What the fuck?
Hold on. Wait. Watch. This badass.
That's the same shit.
No, it's not, bro. This is not the same thing it's not the same thing. This thing is horrifying, dude. Look at that thing.
That thing can't fly though. Imagine having a bow and arrow on riding on the back of a pterodactyl.
See, this is a pterodactyl.
Like Avatar shit.
This is a pterodactyl. This is a pterosaur. It's not the same thing.
What's that one bird that exists today with the big beak? It sounds like someone's letting off rounds. You know what I'm talking about?
The buckbill, or what's it called?
Shoebill.
Bro,
yeah,
that thing is
Shoebill.
ancient, bro.
That thing's terrifying.
Hey, that's
his profile
my
picture.
PFP. Yeah, that's my PFP.
Take the bottom and the top of their beak, or that's a part of a green.
Bro, I'd shit myself, bro. You know how tall, Bryce J? How tall are you, Bryce J?
I'm 5'11", dude.
Google right now how tall that bird is.
Shoebill height. Oh. Almost 5 feet.
It's a tall bird, bro.
And that's a big bird.
That's a tall bird, bro.
You saying a freaking pterosaur is not a dinosaur? Are you serious? Dude, shut up, man. Hold on.
Let's define what a dinosaur is.
How to ride a pterosaur according to science. I gotta watch that later.
Let's go. Let's go.
What do you guys think about dragons? Do you think that's real?
Okay,
dragons are dinosaurs.
Dion, what is the etymology of the word dinosaur?
I'm not sure. Could you tell me?
Dinosaur means monstrous lizard.
Okay.
What does dragon mean?
I don't know.
Monstrous lizard.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Prove it. No way. Prove that shit. What?
Pull up the etymology of both those words
No
real
way.
quick.
Terrible lizard.
Yep.
All right. And now do Dragon.
Huge serpent. Or
You were wrong. You lied to me.
I equivocated a little bit.
he said, "You lied to me. You were wrong."
Terrifying
But look at-
lizard.
Bro, I'm
This
gonna be
is the
real with you,
thing that I
Bryce J.
care
I
about.
think this is fake. I think dinosaurs didn't exist.
At all?
Well,
Did
do
all
I-
the ancient
like,
empires just make this shit up when they drew them?
Yeah, they were just on shrooms and shit.
Brother.
Yeah. I mean, an
They
alligator could be considered a dinosaur, bro.
Okay. I
Yeah.
concede.
I mean, yeah, but like, and like, let's say that Triceratops that just looks like a Down syndrome rhino. Like,
Brother, this looks identical to a Triceratops and the fossils that have been found about it.
bro, that's a rhino.
That's not a rhino, bro.
Bro, it's just a rhino that's like mega evolved. Like
Unicorns are in the Bible, guys.
Mega evolved?
Yeah, mega
Unicorns are in the Bible.
evolution.
Mega evolution. So
Yes.
you're a dinosaur denier, but a mega
He's
evolution.
referring to
fan.
megafauna. Yeah.
No, he's referring to Pokemon.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's crazy how Schoolboy got that.
Pokemon.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know what that. I don't know Pokemon.
Like, it's crazy Schoolboy got that. Everybody.
Bro, I grew up on like Pokemon Red and Blue. Come on, man.
Bro, it's just like a Rhino EX, bro. That's all it is.
Bro, I've been freaking spurging, dude.
What's your favorite dinosaur, Bryce J, other than a Triceratops?
Well, apparently I can't say pterosaur because that's not a dinosaur. Apparently,
What's the big version of the Velociraptor that's not the T-Rex? Like
the Utah Raptor.
That one's pretty cool. What was the one with the crazy thumbs? Like, it had built-in shanks.
Can you look up weirdest looking dinosaurs?
What, the weirdest looking dinosaur?
Dinosaur.
Actually, I'll show you the weirdest dinosaur.
Can I tell you something, bro? If I'm out,
That's a real name, by the way.
If I'm in an Amazon rainforest and I see this thing looking at me, bro, I would genuinely shit myself. Cause look at it, bro.
Iguanodon would be pretty crazy. Thank you, Slime. Look up the Iguanodon.
Bro, don't tell me it's like a big ass iguana.
Dude, no, this thing has like thumb shanks.
What the hell?
It's got like big old thumbs with like.
Yo, yeah. I've seen this like on some cartoon. Yeah,
Dang, bro.
Dang, I could give that guy a handshake.
I think that his hand would just take your freaking body apart, bro. Like instantly. Bryce J would be debating the dinos, bro. Yeah, dude, because they existed alongside humans. That's why. The flood wiped them out, brother.
Do you think they were at the time of Adam and Eve?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
I just imagined Adam riding a dinosaur.
You were laughing. I thought you were laughing at what I thought you were laughing at what I said. I was like,
No,
dude,
that's funny as hell too.
Sliding down the brontosaurus's neck for fun, for recreation.
No, he was probably using the Triceratops to, you know, work the ground and all that, like an oxen, but big.
Exactly. He tilled the field with the Triceratopses, bro. Trust. Bro, what's wrong with affirming that dinosaurs were around at the time of Adam and Eve?
Can you just look up the description of Leviathan in Job?
My girlfriend Bryce J likes the ones with the big long necks. You know what I'm talking about?
Brachiosaurus.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Brontosaurus too.
Yeah.
Brontosaurus doesn't exist, buddy.
Oh, well, you're a
That's
dinosaur
that's a false name. Sorry, I learned that when I was a kid.
Did the meta change by the time you were a kid? Am I that much of an unk that like they had to like even change?
Yeah,
the
they
dinosaur?
reneged on the Brontosaurus. That doesn't exist now.
Come on.
Do you think those were Neanderthals on those dinosaurs?
No.
What?
Like, do you think they were Homo erectus or do you think they were Neanderthals?
Do you think that those things existed?
What things?
Homo erectus and Neanderthals?
Well, I mean, if dinosaurs exist, yeah. Why the fuck not?
So would you say they were humans?
I say
No.
they were humans. I'd say so. Like, look. Technically, a Turkish person's human. Technically, right?
Bro,
Technically,
don't.
Go on.
right? Technically, right?
Expand on that. Brother.
I don't want to talk about Turkey right now.
Hey,
me
a lot of
neither.
things
Me
happen in
neither.
Turkey, bro. Yo, W Bryce J, W Cubanism. Let's go, Bryce J. Bryce J, we should hold pinkies. Let's go. Hell yeah. Dinosaur bros for life.
I freaking saw this meme the other day that made me laugh really freaking hard, and it's what caused me to make that post that I had the other day, where it was literally the Pope and Patriarch Bartholomew just like sitting there talking to each other in a loving manner, and then it was like the meme, and it literally was just like, look at this heresy or some shit, because they were fucking hanging out like buddies. And they're just, and there was like a dude wearing like a Orthodox hat. And it's just like, that shit was funny. I laughed at that, dude. There were so many memes that were made of that event because they made a lot of funny faces. Leviathan description.
Hey, you guys treated Pope Leo real nice over there, man. Real nice.
That's because we are the best. We have great hospitality where we're at.
Bro,
Is that like an
Dion,
Italian
I saw
accent?
what
No, it's Trump, dude.
I saw what Gumbo was saying in your live the other day about Pope Leo. That was crazy.
What happened?
Oh, sorry, in Zach's live, Dion, and you were there, and Gumbo was talking to you about.
Oh yeah.
What
So
was he saying about Pope Leo?
Gumbo
That was
called
terrible,
me,
man.
Yeah, Gumbo called me Pope Leo's cuck, and I called him Halal Christian's cuck and Metaphysics Mike's little lapdog, and he got mad at me.
Oh my gosh, bro. Bro, I've been staying far away from those people until
Me
whatever
too.
the hell they got going on settles, because they got some crazy shit going on right
Yeah,
now.
bro, they have a disease. It's like the plague, bro.
Yeah, it's called
Because like,
Praylust.
wait, because Bryce J, think about it, bro. Right? This is how disgusting.
Why do you always say like my full username, bro? Like, why do you do that?
Because you're Bryce J.
You're the only one that does that I know pretty personally, bro.
Bro,
Like, you're the only one.
Bro, you're Bryce James the second.
I'm not the second though, but thank you. How do you know it's James?
You
What if it's
told
my
me.
patron saint?
You told me before.
Oh, well, okay, never mind.
Oh, it's in your papers too.
But I've noticed
It
this.
is. It is in my papers. You're right. Yeah,
If you think about it, Bryce J, right? How does one come to be a Unitarian? How does one come to this? You don't just sit there and you're like, yeah.
I read John 17:3, and then I don't go to church anymore. It's simple.
Because they only have one brain cell, so they can't solve the one in the many.
No, Dion, I read 1 Timothy 6:16, and I say, if I swap the Father with Jesus, then I'm cooked. Game over, bro. GG's.
Yeah, GG's. Yeah, God doesn't mean God.
Yeah. So is the Father immortal in the same way as Jesus?
Who are you asking?
Yeah. Is the Father immortal in the same way as Jesus, bro?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking you, Trinitarian.
Is he immortal?
The same way that the Father is immortal.
What does that mean?
You don't know what immortal means? Oh,
I'm asking you, what do you
Trinitarians.
mean by that?
Oh, Trinitarians, bro. They never know their terms. I don't have to tell you. I'll just boot you off my panel.
No, but Bryce, he's like rebuttal to that is if you say the Son is immortal, then you're like excluding the Father now, and you're saying the Father's not immortal, therefore it's an absurdity. And I'm like, could you give me like the reductio formalized? And we just spent like 20 minutes talking about formal logic and like why his syntax was wrong. And then he comes to me like 2 weeks later, he goes, "Oh, thank you, by the way, dude. I got your correction and I fixed up my syllogism. Do you want me to send it to you?" And I'm like, "No."
Like, no, I don't want to freaking. I don't want to hear your attempt at blaspheming God in logic, bro.
Who's your patron saint, Bryce J?
Saint Justin Martyr.
Wow.
Yo.
No, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Why can you see that?
Well, you guys have like the same like haircut.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
St. Justin Martyr is the patron of our church. It's pretty cool.
What's yours?
I saw that coming from a mile away.
It's in my username, Dion.
Brother, I'm not Turkish, bro. You have to tell it to me in English.
Bruh.
No, I'm serious.
Damaskinos.
English, bro, like English.
St. John of Damascus.
Okay,
John of Damascene, yeah.
Was that so hard for you to say?
Or you can say it like the heretic, or like some other people. Like I don't want to say just heretics, but a lot of heretics call them it. The Damascene.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Me and Physites love saying that.
Yeah. Oh, the Damascene. Maximus,
love saying that
Maximus the Confuser. Yeah, they would just get them all, bro.
Catholics love saying the Damascene too.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I've only heard Trent Horn say that.
That's
Trent Horns is secretly a Coptic, bro.
Yeah,
That's
this,
how
Thomas Aquinas refers to him as the Damascene. Yeah.
I didn't even know
the
that.
Summa.
Yeah.
What do you think my patron saint is?
Damasc.
What do you think my patron saint is? It's pre-schism.
What?
Guess your patron saint?
Yeah, it's he's pre-schism.
Oh, okay.
Saint Joseph the Betrothed.
No.
That's so random, dude.
Hey, I mean that's pre-schism, so
Yeah, I know, dude. Freaking Saint Gregory Thaumaturgus, bro.
What?
You don't know who that is?
I don't think you said his name correctly.
I did.
Hermes Trismegistus.
All right, yeah. It's Saint Jerome. It's Saint Jerome, guys.
Timotheus the First of Constantinople.
I actually know that. I know him. I know him.
Oh, you met him?
No. Like I know him.
Oh, okay. Like, John Maxentius, bro. How about that?
No, but I already said Saint Jerome.
I said Timothy. Oh, Saint Jerome.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good one.
But you think you're better than me or something?
Can we get back? Can we get back to the Leviathan?
Yeah, dude.
You know that? Wait, do you think the Leviathan is a demon?
No, it's a dinosaur.
No, it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a demon.
God is asking, who do you think made?
If something's described as a creature, it's a demon, Dion.
Bro, it's literally in hell. What the hell? What are you talking about?
Which one?
Leviathan.
I was sticking up for Schoolboy blindly. I don't know about his argument.
Yeah, no, this is not a well-formed argument. But it does sound like a dinosaur.
I was about to say, I was like, as soon as you said it's in hell, I was just like, I concede. I'm not actually a part of this.
No, when it does describe it,
I don't want to say the dinosaurs are in hell, bro.
What do you think happened? Like, do you think they're like heaven, or do you think they're like just annihilated?
I think they were just annihilated, brother.
Yeah.
They obviously weren't brought. Well, were they brought on the ark?
No.
So everything was wicked in those days, right?
Alligators were.
Alligators aren't. That's because alligators were not wicked.
Yeah, they were redeemable.
Triceratopses were wicked.
Do you think every animal is under? Or
What?
do you guys think every animal is under? Or do you think like the main branches?
Of each kind, bro.
It was the main branches because like multiple people have done like a couple studies on like the scale of the ark, and if it was made, Noah would have been able to fit about 70,000 full like animals in entirety on it without it sinking.
W response Bryce J. Another Bryce J W.
Yeah, dude.
Can't wait to venerate you, bro. I could do it right now, but
don't, bro, don't.
It wouldn't be the same.
I can't wait until Pope Leo renounces papal infallibility and you finally become Orthodox, Dion.
You can't wait for that?
I would. A true union, it would be beautiful.
Well,
I highly doubt it, but it would be
waiting
beautiful.
1,000 years.
Do you guys ever?
One more year wouldn't hurt, right?
It's only been like 1,000 years, bro. What's the big deal? Dude, do you guys I don't know why I thought this was going to be funny for a second, but now I'm going to say it anyway. Do you think that anybody in the Catholic Church's patron saint is Saint Justinian the Great?
Maybe in like a rural area in like the mountains. Yeah.
What?
Like
Why?
I don't know.
Why in the rural?
That type of vibe.
What about Pope Vigilius?
I don't think he's a saint.
Yeah, it's the Sixth Council says he is.
I don't think it says that.
It does. You want to bet?
Does it really? Go ahead.
How much do you want to bet right now?
Okay, if you're lying to me, your descendants will be damned.
Just curse my lineage, bro.
No, if you're lying to me.
Okay, hold on.
Up to the 3rd and 4th generation.
All right. Give me a sec.
Dion's like, hold on, let me go dust off my Kabbalah.
I don't even know what that is. What is funny?
Well, it was your church. It was your popes that made the priests all read the Kabbalah back in the day.
Oh, the Jewish thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys have some weird beliefs, bro. They're like Adam and Eve were like a hermaphrodite and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like you're talking about that hexagon stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man, you got to know your enemy.
You don't want to read any of that stuff, dude. That stuff brought me back to Christ.
Did you
In my
actually read it?
I read.
What's the weirdest thing you read there?
In the Zohar, it talks
Before
about
you
how
continue,
a woman.
Bryce J, I'm sorry for what I said to you. I was obviously joking. May your descendants grow, and may you be fruitful and multiply as the Lord willed, in your whole union with your wife.
Two of the most like outrageous things that I read were in the Zohar, and it talks about how the afterlife is just essentially whatever someone holds as their beliefs at the moment of their death, they will experience that in the afterlife. So it's like this like multiple universe, microcosm, macrocosm idea where like, oh yeah, like everything is just mental. So like your ideas shape your afterlife. And then it also says that a woman like can give birth to like one of her former partner's children because
No, actually, that what you said there. If you talk to Orthodox Jews, the
why do
Russianites.
you think they believe this? This is their
but
beliefs.
But that's the thing, though. They want to say it's not. But I've talked to 2 Orthodox Jews, and they've admitted to me, yeah, we believe in reincarnation. And they believed one of the rabbis was the reincarnation of the prophet Moses.
Well, no. It's like essentially like if a woman has like multiple partners earlier in life, that like sperm can lay dormant and then be reactivated, and like even though like,
what the fuck are you telling me right now?
It's in the Zohar, bro.
Yeah, the Sixth Ecumenical Council, specifically with Pope Agatho, he makes the statement that Vigilius is to be remembered in saintly memory.
Wow.
As well as Emperor Saint Justinian. So both of them.
Wow, let's go, man! Like another Pope W.
That was an argument that Talon gave me.
What was the argument?
Well, the argument that I was giving was that obviously Vigilius seems to have been removed from the diptychs after or right before the end of the Fifth Council, and so because of his actions, even though he assented to the council, he's not considered a saint in the church.
Shut up. Answer your wife. Your duty calls.
Yeah, I got you. All right. What?
It's just like you just stop and I just hear your keyboard like clicking. You got a very loud keyboard. What kind of keyboard is it?
Logitech G Pro.
Wow, that's awesome, bro. I actually have a Universal 64XY. It's like awesome. Have you heard of it?
Does it light up?
Where'd you get it from? The car wash or?
No, I got it from TikTok Shop. I have 3 colognes.
You bought Chinese slop.
I have 3 colognes coming from TikTok Shop.
Ugh.
I want to see if they're
You're gonna get skin burns.
I just want to see if they're really that.
It's gonna knock out your endocrine system.
I don't know what that is. I'm Mediterranean.
It's such a hilarious response.
Are you actually French, Bryce J?
Yeah.
Like just French?
Like mega, like French and Canadian and all that.
Whoa. Oh, bonjour.
Yeah, I traced my lineage back to like the 1300s with Ancestry.com.
Are you related to Napoleon? Dynamite?
No.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Dynamite. Dude, honey, bruh, I don't want to.
What's that? Whoa, whoa,
It's a joke, but like,
whoa.
you're
That
going
was
to,
super.
bro.
Yo, that was
She
an
said,
alpha
no,
male.
she
That was
texted
an
me.
alpha
She
male
said,
moment.
I need you to eat the other half of this banana for me because I don't want to waste it and I don't want to go over my calories.
You better eat.
I don't want it.
Guys.
Like,
Bro, you better get that potassium. Receive the potassium, Bryce J.
Bro, that's like
I
70 calories, it's
don't
fine.
like eating bananas, bro. I don't like eating them.
Why not?
You're going to do it. Now everybody's on my wife's side. It's crazy.
Why don't you like eating bananas?
They're not good. I don't like them.
You don't like God's creation.
Shut up, bro. There's a lot of shit that exists on this planet that sucks ass, bro. Like, don't even try that.
Got so mad.
What, you're telling me
Because I know what you did,
bro. I guarantee you, Bryce J slipped on a banana peel in 3rd grade and never liked them since.
Look,
bro.
dude, did God make the corpse flour?
Well, your DNA is really similar to that of a banana, so it is
What
low
is that?
kind of cannibalism. If you think about it, scientifically.
Bro, this is like freaking like 200 IQ rage baiting, dude. I can't detect it before it's
So
too
by
late.
the way, Dion, he said like he thinks majority of the stuff on Earth is terrible, and he doesn't like God's creation. So
Yeah, I'm a Gnostic.
Yeah, he's a Gnostic about bananas.
he's a heretic.
Based corpse flour. What?
You seem like a blueberry guy, Bryce J.
No, I'm an apple guy.
What?
Why is that funny? Why the fuck did somebody laugh?
Wait, schoolboy, wait. What kind of apple?
What? Honeycrisp.
Honeycrisp, you basic ass white boy.
Yeah, you're a white boy. Bro.
Oh my goodness.
What about Golden Delicious?
This is insane, bro. You said what?
Golden Delicious.
Is that like the yellow apples?
Bro, that sounds like
Yeah.
GMO. as
Yeah.
hell,
Yeah, those are
bro.
good. Those are pretty good. GMOs.
Dion's a steak and blueberries guy, man, for sure.
Yo,
No,
Bryce.
I'm actually more. Look, I'm gonna be real with you. Watermelon W. I don't like cantaloupe. That's nasty. Watermelon's a W. Pears
What
are
about honeydew?
cool.
What
I
about
like
honeydew?
Do
Pears
we
are what?
actually have any Greeks on the panel? Are there
Pears
any
are-
Greeks on the panel?
I'm
Kiwi guy.
adopted Greek.
He said, "Here we go."
Damaskinos, are you Greek? Are you actually Greek or
1.4%.
because watermelon with halloumi cheese?
Oh,
Slaps.
dude, watermelon with feta, a little bit of mint. Come on,
Did you just say watermelon with cheese on it?
dude. You've
With
never had
halloumi cheese.
you've never had like a watermelon salad.
Bro,
It's freaking based.
bro,
It's
freaking
so good, dude. With
dude.
mint, with fresh mint.
That's probably the actual reason why Patriarch Kirill did what he did, bro. Like, there's no
Schoolboy,
way
how
that
do
you
you
guys
feel-
think that
You've
shit's
never,
cool.
dude. Do not knock it until you try it. It is one of the most refreshing things you can eat at a cookout.
Watermelon plus cheese. That sounds
Raw
demonic.
halloumi cheese.
No, feta
That's
cheese.
gotta be
Like
heresy,
good
bro.
feta, like quality feta in fruit, dude. Come on.
No,
Wait,
Bryce,
how do you
Bryce,
feel about sliced up strawberries with sugar on it?
What'd you say?
Sliced up strawberries with sugar on it.
Yeah, that's
now you're
delicious.
now you're just trying to be fat.
That's delicious. What?
What? Look at this guy, bro. Like, we
Dude,
get it,
classic bad Mia Fizzite argument, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Okay.
Like, we get
Yo,
it, bro.
by the
You
way,
fast
strawberry-
every second day, bro.
We
Strawberries
get
are
it,
already
bro.
Sweet, bro. You're adding sugar
We
to
get
it.
it,
It's
bro.
crazy.
I bet St. Cyril ate strawberries with sugar, bro.
Rhubarb with sugar.
I've never
pretty sure-
ate rhubarb.
What's rhubarb?
Bro, I'm
I never
pretty
ate
sure
rhubarb.
I'm pretty sure John of Damascus said
Cleve,
anathema to those
I see
two
you just
strawberries
joined,
and
bro. You should come up here and hang out. We're doing a close out of the stream, man. Like a couple minutes. I see you're in here.
You should
Like,
you should
Bryce,
let
I'm pretty-
Sidonius up here. Sidonius, request up. He's got
I'm just
good.
hanging out. I don't want to debate nobody. I'm
No,
loving
he's
it.
not. He'll just chill.
Bryce, you haven't read Damascene's anathema of like strawberries with sugar?
No, I haven't. Is that in the Patrologia?
No,
I haven't read them.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, Dion, I think it's honestly embarrassing that you think that dinosaurs didn't exist because St. John of Damascus says that they did. So
I
Bryce,
think it's
how do you feel about
embarrassing. Well,
Kiwis?
wait,
And I
hold
don't
up,
mean New
wait,
Zealanders.
schoolboy. But I think it's embarrassing that you have to eat dates in order for you to use the bathroom properly.
Wait, you guys know about New Zealand? That's crazy.
I'm gonna
isn't
be
that place
honest.
like upside down or something?
Bro,
The toilets
That's
flush
China.
this
backwards.
is the advice I give to anyone in America. If you ever want to come to Australia, fly straight the fuck over it and go to New Zealand. It's a much better use of your money.
Okay.
Fair.
Yo, Bryce, bro.
Yo,
Isn't your president a Jewish woman?
When you and your wife go to visit the ecumenical patriarch, I think you should stop by and get a hair transplant too. It's in the same country. Like you might as well get your money's worth.
The pain.
Would you ever?
Man,
Would you ever get a lineup, Bryce J? Like, is that ever in the future?
Bro, he can't even get
a
a
line-
lineup, bro. What is it gonna be, bro?
No, he can get a lineup.
dude, like you guys just keep knocking me about my hair. Like it's not as bad as you guys think.
Whoa, what's that?
Bryce,
Whoa,
Bryce,
whoa,
take
whoa,
off the
whoa,
headphones.
whoa.
Bryce, take
Whoa,
off the
whoa.
headphones.
Yo,
I'm seeing
did you see that too, Cyril? Yo, put your
Yeah,
head
yeah,
down.
bend down,
Hand,
bend
hand,
down, bend
hand on the
down.
forehead. Hand on the forehead and push
no,
it
no.
down.
Hold on, wait.
further,
I have
bend
to
down
actually
further,
do
bend
this
down
first.
further.
No. Put
Because
your
it put
head
no,
down.
it pushes my hair down. That's not fair.
No, put your head down. More.
Yeah, yeah, he's gotta get.
Damn, boy.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
See,
No,
I can
bro,
pull it
Bryce,
back.
Whoa.
I still got
Bryce.
plenty of hair here.
No, Bryce, bro, you're
it
growing
like
the St.
5
John of
years.
Chrysostom haircut, man. You're
What?
growing the St. John haircut. You're growing the Chrysostom haircut, bro.
I was gonna be looking like Paul pretty soon.
That's fine. He's a holy man.
Why do you always look
It's gonna look
baked?
like a Franciscan monk.
Me?
Yeah, why do you always look baked?
I don't know why people keep saying that.
Because your eyes are really low and slanted and they look really swollen all the time.
I'm tired.
Baked is in like high?
Have you ever
Always
tried
tired.
putting ice on your eyes?
Ice on my eyes?
Yeah,
No,
but make
I-
sure they don't have fluoride because that's bad for your skin to absorb and it'll block your pineal gland.
It's fucking black pill people, bro.
Like your pineal gland.
The freaking
Yo,
the,
Bryce, did you
the
trim your
black
beard
pill
today?
community is crazy, bro.
Bryce, did you trim your beard today?
No.
Okay, because like your left side, like one of the sides looks uneven.
Oh yeah, it's because I usually do this and I forgot to do that side.
Is that a guava?
Is that a guava? What?
Yeah, is that a guava? What you just had in your hand?
It's a comb, dude.
Oh, I thought you were tapped in. I'm sorry.
Guys, kiwis with or without the skin?
With.
Without. What the
With.
hell? Who would eat it
With. Let's
With.
go.
You're sick.
You need the fiber, bro.
That's sick.
All right, shush.
8,129 super chatted $5 for the trip to Turkey.
All right, Javi, I see you, bro. It's all good, man.
You know what's crazy, bro?
Damn, bro.
Patriarch
He might-
Bartholomew. I didn't know he was bald, bro.
Wait, he is?
He always wears a hat.
I've never seen him with his hair. He took it off, and I was like, "Yo, he's bald."
Dion, one of my favorite clips that I've seen over the past 2 weeks was a clip of like some American walking up to Pope Leo in the Vatican, like in Vatican City, while he was like shaking everyone's hands. He goes, Holy Father, how does it feel to be the first American Pope and know that you've eaten more hot dogs than any Pope in history?
I see that. Yeah, I see that.
Wow, bro. It's kind of like what is it, Elder Ephraim of Arizona? If he ends up getting
Well,
getting
icons of him in
canonized.
Walmart.
Yeah, dude, freaking he'll be the he'll be the first canonized saint to be caught at shopping at Walmart.
Yup.
Oh my god,
dude! I met a monk at Saint Nectarios who was telling us stories about coming over here to help like establish the monasteries, and it was like really funny to hear him talk about like Elder Ephraim going to banks looking for loans to like establish the monasteries.
Yeah, I'm sure that just based off of him looking like a monk when he showed up and said, I want to take out a loan, they probably look at him and they're like, do you?
Yeah, no, my
Do
priest
you?
had the same problems trying to get loans for the new building of our church.
But it's just crazy to think of like Elder Ephraim like going to.
That's because people
the
just
bank.
don't trust Coptics, though.
Can I ask what
Okay,
brand that
buddy.
is, Bryce J?
Huh?
Yo,
What brand is that?
What brand is what?
The lamp.
I don't know.
Wait,
mean you
Bryce,
don't
Bryce,
know?
can you take a better look at it? Like I need you to like really examine it.
Oh.
No, it's a really nice lamp. Like, what brand is it?
No, dude.
Everyone's trying to.
Everybody's trying to freaking screenshot my hair in the
Do you
back,
have
dude.
an Adidas shirt on?
Huh?
Do you have an Adidas shirt on? You do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yo, Bryce, bro. I have a serious question. What's the youngest age you can become a bishop in the Eastern Church?
I don't really think it's an age thing.
Like, could you become a bit like hypothetically? Could someone be ordained a bishop at 25?
I mean, we have had schema monks ordained at that time, so probably.
Okay. Here's my question, or even a schema monk. Let's say they're they're living in the States, and then they are eligible for the draft. What if they get drafted? What if their name gets called?
Draft?
There's religious exemptions.
Yeah. You
Oh,
just
there
get a
are?
religious exemption. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was asking. I actually had no idea.
Yeah. If you're a monk, you're like automatically a conscientious objector. So.
Cyril, what's the minimum age to be a deacon in the Coptic Church?
Depends on what rank of the diaconate.
I'm just trolling. I'm just teasing.
Oh,
I'm needling you.
Oh, I was ordained. I was ordained at 8 or maybe 6. I don't know.
Wow. What are you doing?
I don't know. I got ordained a reader right
What were
away.
you
Actually,
doing?
didn't even.
Oh,
I
dang.
didn't even get the cantor rank. I just got ordained reader.
I was about to say, I was just like, wait, what? like freaking, what were you doing
skipped.
at 8?
I skipped cantor too.
Yeah.
Canterbury?
Okay.
No, cantor, like a chanter.
Oh.
The youngest
So why didn't you
Orthodox
just say
bishop was
chanter?
28. Okay.
Okay.
Why didn't you just say chanter?
Because it's spelled Cantor.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Wait, what do you mean? No, it's not, bro.
Look, look at the comments.
The tonsuring is literally for cantor. Because is it an ordination or is it tonsuring that you're talking about, Cyril?
For us, it should be called tonsuring, but for some reason they label it as ordination. I think something happened in like the late 1700s in the manuscripts.
Okay.
Because it used to be like appendix to the ordination of the diaconate. So reader would be should have been the first rank.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they
it's
got-
minor clergy. Yeah.
If I send you a galaxy, will you do a backflip, Bryce J?
No.
What would you do if what can I get out of you?
Bryce, if I send you 2 love hearts, could I get you to
No,
turn around?
no. Hey, get out of
If
here,
someone
bro.
sends you a galaxy, can you turn around while the galaxy is playing on the TikTok stream?
The cookies are calling me. I'll tell you what, you send me a galaxy, I'll turn around and I'll reveal my entire hairline.
Okay, let's go.
Go straight down his back.
All right.
Frenchman.
No, I just do this and I just pull it all off and it's actually just a giant freaking fake wig.
It's a toupee.
Completely bald.
Mans is the first one to get a toupee that looks like it's
I'll tell you what,
like he's balding.
Here's what I'll do. I may have shown this before, but maybe not, and then I'm gonna
No,
go.
you said you do it, Bryce J.
Okay. Wait, I have a question for Mrs. Bryce J.
Do it.
Okay, Mrs. Bryce J. What?
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it, Bryce.
Oh, what? Did you give it to me?
Yes, I gave it to you.
Yeah, Galaxy just hit.
No. Get out of the chair,
buddy. He played that well.
Okay, now you got to pull your hairline back. You said you'd do that too? Fuck.
Damn.
Shit.
Bro, that goes all the way back to Chalcedon.
Damn, bro. You look like a student of Pythagoras with that hairline, bro. Shit.
Bro, you look like you knew Aristotle, man.
If I just keep my headphones off, I won't know the insults being thrown my way.
Hey, Bryce J, can you give me my galaxy back?
Why? Here, I'll make it more worth your while. Hold on.
Wait, Mrs. Bryce J, I have a question. What do you like? How soon do you think Bryce goes bald? Or would you let him keep the John Chrysostom cut? Or would you make him go bald?
Sean. Sidonius in the comments. I'm telling you, bring the Aquinas cut back.
I want to see you shave everything in your head except for 2 little strands at the front.
little tuft of hair.
Wait, Bryce, next Halloween, you gotta pull off the St. John Chrysostom look.
Yeah? No, I'm probably just gonna go as Dr. Doom, dude.
How are you going to make this worth my while, Bryce J?
I'm showing you. You ready?
Okay.
Enjoy this while you can see it.
I went as
Alright,
I went
sure.
as Rorschach one Halloween.
What am I? What the hell? What is this? Who's this? Who's this homosexual?
That's me, dude.
Oh, yo, that's
Hairless
actually
and
insane, bro.
beardless.
Hold up,
That's
wait,
crazy.
hold up. Thank you. Yep, that's going on Discord.
Yo, Bryce, that's my new sticker, bro.
Yeah, man, it was a tough time in Bryce J's life.
Yo, Bryce, when did your hair start thinning in the corners?
They don't call them fatigues for nothing.
It's been like that since I was like 16.
Right, Bryce? They don't call
my hair's always been like this.
Damn.
Right, Bryce? They don't call them fatigues for nothing.
You can actually see it in that shave. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Were you always around a bunch of white kids?
No, actually.
Wait, Bryce, were you like more of the black?
I think you're lying
in high
to me.
school.
Considering you were in Somalia, how do you feel about Tim Waltz putting up the Somali flag?
I have a Somali flag.
You do look like an albino Somalian.
Yo, that makes sense, bro. That's why he has their haircut, bro. He has a
That's
small
what-
hairline.
Yeah, he has like the cranium and shit.
All right, bro. I'm in his stream.
Wait, before you end the stream, Bryce, what is Bryce J's kryptonite?
You're asking me for my ultimate weakness?
Yes.
A solid hairline.
Yes. What is Bryce J's kryptonite?
Trimmers.
You want me to be serious?
Yes.
I'd say if somebody lies to me once. Like if I find out that somebody
like no, wait, what? No.
Wait, Bryce, I have a question.
So then what do you mean by kryptonite?
Bro, like something like I can put to you and you will become submissive. You're over here talking about lying and shit.
Yeah, peanut butter desserts. My wife is correct on that one.
So if I give you peanut butter desserts, you will become
But
submissive.
Mans doesn't like bananas.
Yeah.
What if the?
What did you say, Cyril?
Oh yeah, what's the one topic you'll never debate? Like either because you don't like it or because you just don't know enough about it.
The difference is with like the view of Mary between Orientals, Catholics, and Eastern Orthodox. I just don't care to ever debate it. I think it's disrespectful.
Okay.
I know that sounds weird, but like
I have a debate
don't
coming
care to
up,
ever do it.
Bryce J, on the intercession of Mary next week on Wednesday, specifically.
See, I would
6
do
p.m.
I would do
Central Time.
something like that, but like I wouldn't debate like the Immaculate Conception with the Roman Catholic. I'm not going to do that.
You're right, bro. That would
It's
be
just
really
one
bad.
thing. It's just one thing that I don't do because like there's just no point. There's no dogma. There's no dogma in the Orthodox Church that says I need to talk against it, so I just don't.
Would you debate a Calvinist, Bryce J, on if they pressed you on Eastern Orthodox being semi-Pelagian?
Yeah, sure. I'll just take from the Acts of the Council of Jerusalem 1672 and win. I don't care.
Wait, Bryce, I have a question.
Bro, just
Would
like
you-
Saint Maximus would be the goat in that debate.
Honestly, yeah.
Yo, Bryce, I have a question.
You just got to bite the bullet on St. John
All
Cassian.
right, one more question and I gotta go.
It was super misunderstood.
To you and Dion, would you guys disagree with this formulation of sola fide? 1 second.
What?
Sola fide. He's just trying to be. He's trying to be
Oh, I
exotic.
thought he said Phoebe.
No, he's trying to be exotic.
Sola fide. Yeah. Okay. The position of the church is that we are not justified by faith and not by. We're not justified. Sorry, the position of the church is that we are justified by faith and not by works, but works justify faith. We are not justified by the works because we are justified by the blood of our Lord Jesus Christ, by His grace. We cannot be justified without works, though. Thus, works are not the reason for our justification, nor are they the cause of our justification, because works fail to justify us. But works are a condition for keeping the grace and justification that we receive from our Lord Jesus Christ.
I hate to be that guy, but I would have to know who said that before saying yes or no.
No,
It's not a father. This is what a friend of mine. He's been reading the Latin Fathers, and this is what he came a conclusion that he came to.
Oh, I mean, like if it's just like a general exegesis, then I mean, I don't see anything by itself wrong with it, but I kind of I don't like the whole saying you're not justified by your works, like and towing on that because like it kind of sounds like it's just contradicting James 2.
Yeah, but what he seems to like state from it is that faith, that works justify faith, and that the works are not the reason for our justification, but they're a necessary condition to keep the justification we receive by initially having faith.
Yeah.
Hey,
It sounds like
Bryce,
he was trying to
senpai.
Wait,
affirm some
I have a
grace as
quick
the first mover,
question,
though, Cyril.
Cyril.
Sorry, what were you saying, Jakobus?
Already.
I'm just saying, it sounds like he was still trying to affirm grace as the first mover, in which you actually like tend towards God's will and do those works, though.
Yeah.
If I'm hearing what he was saying correctly, if he's saying that, I think that's